Resist. Episode 7. Lucky episode 7. That to me is a long time to have survived in this game. I was hoping to kill you by session 3, 4, somewhere right around 0. There. I wanted someone to design session 0. I'm so disappointed. I'm not a good enough paranoia GM.
I mean, I think we would have felt like douchebags if we killed someone off in session 0 and made them, like, completely scratch and make a new character concept at that point.
I'd have felt like you were champions of this game.
Well, I rescind my No.
And then I would have been like, and that player is not in this campaign anymore. Goodbye.
Damn.
Could you imagine setting all that up?
You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
Oh.
Every 6 sessions, you just kick one person. You didn't contribute enough. Goodbye. Damn.
Oh, that's when we get into hard mode. But I feel like this is already to some degree hard mode, because you guys had quite a time working on thinking through some plans for something. What is it that the 5 of you were planning?
We have to get into a place that is kind of like a transportation place for this Noqual. They store all the carts and stuff, and they transport it to the refinery from there and such. And we need documentation, or not necessarily to get documentation, because we don't want to take anything, but we're just trying to get the names of employees. Because then ideally, then we'll go somehow steal those employees' fancy medallion things that they're using when they transport the Noqual, and I'm assuming somehow try to assume their places or something, but we haven't gotten that far yet in the plan. It's just figuring out how we get into this building and find names of employees and get out. And this building has a lot of guards, 1 camera, and some weird trap rooms and funky floors.
Already trying to think ahead of what my plan is for the next session. How good of you.
I mean, you know, just assuming. I could be wrong.
Well, perhaps.
If only I knew you.
But those are still, again, as you said, things for a future date. We are where we are now, and the party is where they are, making their initial plans, discussing the details of how this will all go down. Let's take you back to your planning board.
Should we roll HP first?
Yes, everybody did level. So let's go ahead and see some HP rolls, and don't forget to track them in your handy-dandy HP segment.
Don't forget your +1.
Really?
You have a D10, you get to re-roll that.
Whew. I was like, come on, man. 3? 4?
Oh, man, that one you don't get to re-roll.
What is happening?
Oh, that sucks.
Oh, wow. That's where we are. Ooh. 3.
I mean, John also got rolled a 4. He just has an insane con mod.
True.
I have a -4 to con.
I think you need to go deal with your addiction.
I don't know I'm addicted. I'm too dumb. I'm too dumb to know what's happening.
Maybe you should try asking, you know, the person you know that deals with, like, alchemy stuff. Maybe she could help you figure out what's going on. But no.
He's just tired. He's been doing a lot.
Sure. He's just going to end up getting himself killed.
No one ever dies from addiction, right?
What?
So funny.
I got the same amount last level. I got 4.
Same. I actually got the exact same roll as last level. Also,
Same, actually. What the fuck?
Yep.
Glad I didn't, because I had the minimum.
Mine's a decent roll though, because I rolled a 6 both times on a D8, so above average. So not bad for me.
I think all of you did fine. You're all at hit points that are more than what I really want you to be, and that seems good for all of you.
We're all at above 0 hit
I mean,
points.
let's be honest, our hit points don't
-1.
matter that much because there's a million ways we can die in this game that have
There
absolutely
you
nothing to do
go.
with our hit points. So
There you go. That's the way I'm really gonna kill you, right?
probably.
And when an anvil drops out of the sky and kills me, I'll know I did something right.
Or wrong.
No, very
More
right.
so when the assessors come to collect you for questioning, you'll know you did something right. And then someone else will be playing in your seat. So, yeah, I believe you guys had even started concocting a plan, correct?
If I had memory, I would remember the things I said.
Yeah, the note taker just walked away, so.
I have to review the minutes from last week.
Essentially, we were planning on from our initial scouting, we know there's like a window when they change guards, and in that window we were going to knock some people out and go in and check stuff out. But we were worried about if there's anyone inside that doesn't rotate out and things like this. We didn't deal with that possibility.
All right. So yeah. So our plan was we wait till the person moves their shift. We go in, and then at that point we hope that there's no one in the building. But if there's someone in the building, we have to find a way to knock them out. That's about where we were.
And the biggest problem was the trap rooms.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they weren't a big deal unless they alert everyone else that they've fallen into it, because I think Whitney's knowledge of or Tess's knowledge of the architecture was like, as long as someone's there to help you out, you can be helped out quite easily, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It's meant
Yeah.
for like solo people can get effed by it.
Yep.
Yeah, theoretically, it sounds like the doors lock from the outside, so you get locked in. So if there's someone on the outside, as long as we don't all step into a room at the same time type thing, it should be okay.
Yep, she got high enough that I can't trap you guys that way.
But we do need to talk to the resist people and probably figure out if they have any idea of what the heck we can put into our shoes so that we don't trip any of the false floor things.
And ideally, we should try and get something that could like stun people. If there's guards in the building that we don't know about.
Stunning someone for a round, isn't that quite rare at our level?
Is it quite rare? I guess I don't know.
I don't know. I've never even encountered a stun effect.
Well,
I
there's
should knock somebody else next
like
round.
days technically, but days stops
I
at a
mean,
certain
next
number of hit
level.
dice. And it's a magic and it's a spell, so not a good
Okay,
idea.
so then we're just gonna hope that there's no one in the building.
Well, our backup plan, if there's someone there, we just have to knock them out.
Right.
So, like, I guess they get they get their initiative to like yell. So I don't know if we have like something that's to make silence or something. That might be more easy to do, or less actually, because there's no magic. But
Is there like a what's the thing? A blow dart?
Well, then you might leave a mark. You might
Right.
leave
Oh, that's
some
true.
indication behind.
Wasn't there? But there was some spell that we had this. Right, someone had this idea where like there's some spell that they forget, like they kind of like pass out and they forgot like what happened to them. I forget
Well,
exactly
you don't want
what
to be
triggered
talking
it.
about spells.
It wasn't a spell. It was some kind of like
toxin.
toxin, I guess it was.
I recall what you're talking about, but I don't remember what it was.
I don't remember.
I think that's actually something we have, but it's like I think we want to use that in like it's like very rare or something. Like,
Oh right. If we like work to get that now, then we'll have like less resources or ability.
yeah,
or
that's right. They said that
abilities.
we could have that for like one step of the plan, and we wanted to save that for like the more.
I think the other problem with that, though, was that it was technically a poison, which only Kitten Chewer can handle poisons without risking poisoning themselves. But we were told with our idea was to like chloroform style them, but it was going to be a CMB check, and he has not very good bonuses to CMB, so it was a little worrisome on whether,
Negatives.
so whether or not he would succeed on that check. And then if you don't, the whole theory there was catch him by surprise, and if you don't succeed, well, there goes your
then
surprise.
we've lost all the surprise. I guess we could just try to do the thing where we like we just go all in, and we try to incapacitate. If there's any guards, we just try and incapacitate them with as little alert as possible. Is really what we're going for. So if we have anything that we can make ourselves less known, that would be what we're looking for.
Well, we've got our suits,
Yeah.
our outfits. That's it.
Have we considered the fact that they most likely have surveillance inside? I guess we just have to make sure we don't reveal our actual faces and we don't care that they see footage of us in there.
Right,
Yeah,
I
because
mean, like,
theoretically, if no one sees us, we don't alert anyone, no one hears us, we're not taking anything because we're just looking for names and we'll write them down and leave. They wouldn't have any reason to look at the surveillance footage even if they do have it, right? Because
Because nothing's gonna be missing.
Right.
Yeah, and we know that the cameras aren't things that people are always looking at. They might go review surveillance if they have a reason to believe they need to, or if you get really unlucky, maybe someone is watching the surveillance cameras. But I think those are for more of the outside surveillance cameras, and the one in buildings are probably less likely that someone is like actively watching them, but it is a possibility. But again, if no one hears or sees us and we don't take anything, they have no reason to feel like they need to go look at the cameras. So hopefully, even if there are surveillance cameras inside, hopefully it'll be unlikely that anyone actually has a reason to go back and look at them.
I think we have enough bases covered, at least, that we're good enough. We have enough of a plan. We have enough information. The question is, who? Like, how many people are gonna like? Are we gonna have someone like post out like here, for example, in the building, just to like signal us, just in case something like goes wrong or the guard happens to come back early or something? Might be a good idea.
I mean, I think we watch them regularly enough to know that they're
just not gonna do it.
I mean, they seem to be on a fairly clockwork schedule, so it would have to be something quite out of the norm for them to break pattern, because it seemed like they had a pretty like specific pattern that they probably don't deviate from unless they have a reason to deviate from it, which would probably be rare. And if we're doing everything correctly and not being noticed, theoretically they should have no reason to deviate from it. And we know it's approximately 5 minutes, so I'd say one person should at least be semi paying attention to time, so that we don't just lose track of time while we're searching and end up having the dude walk in on us while we're still looking around. But
That's a good point. Does the resist have access to hourglasses in different time increments?
Yes, they will. If you think an hourglass will be helpful, they can give you one in 1 minute, 3 minutes, or 5 minutes time.
We get to synchronize our watches. I love that.
So yeah, I think what do we need? Do we want the 5 minute one? It sounds like.
That seems like what we're gonna need, because that's the amount of time that they do this trip.
So we just need one, or does everyone want their own, just in case?
I think.
I mean, I think we could just get one and have one person in charge of like looking around, but also watching this hourglass pretty, good. And
one thing they will warn you about, by the way, since you're bringing up the hourglass thing. An hourglass is right. I'm sorry. This would be Ford that would say this. An hourglass is a very accurate thing for measuring time, but if you're moving around, sometimes the time may be slightly off. Sometimes there may be more time used or less time used. Don't expect it to keep calculations to the second. It is a rough estimate of that period of time.
I think the idea would be, once we're in position, we throw it down on the floor somewhere so we keep an eye on it, so we're not moving around with it.
Remember then to collect it?
Mm-hmm. So who wants it? Who is the most perceptive of us all?
Well, is there a way to keep it as accurate as possible? Like, would there be some sort of skill check or something, maybe?
You could specifically try to carry it in such a way that it stays as flat as possible and you're doing minimum shaking. That would be, I would probably say that's like a either acrobatic. I guess we haven't blended that. It would either be an acrobatics or a sleight of hand check.
And also,
Okay,
it's
so
only
I'm-
going to be
so
off
I
by
mean, I-
like. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I could be pretty likely to keep it as accurate as possible. So
All right.
But
Yeah.
also, it's like it's only off by some amount of seconds or so. So, like, if
Yeah.
we're seeing it's close, right? Like, we know we might not have, I think, like a precise, like, it's coming back now.
It
but
would
we
be
have,
off by basically plus or minus 15 seconds.
Right. So that wouldn't be enough. That wouldn't, like, we would hopefully be out by then, right? Like, otherwise the guard might just see us.
Hopefully, yeah.
So I think the time that we may or may gain or lose by shaking it is probably going to be negligible. If you want to be careful with it, we can, to prevent that from being like larger than we want it to be. But
Sounds good. I think Kitten Chewer takes the hourglass.
Okay. Right. Are we ready to try this then?
So
I'm
from the
not sure
time he
anyone-
leaves, I was gonna say from the time he leaves here to the time he enters here is about 5 minutes.
Yep.
I'm not
Okay.
sure anyone scouted out a place for us to change nearby that doesn't have cameras.
And
yeah,
are we
so
doing this at
so we
night?
should probably spend one more night. We'll just double check the guards and look for a place to change.
Okay. I like the idea of this using up one more day because that will mean I need another save from everyone who's got addictions.
Yeah, and whoever decides to
Ooh.
go check, if you're using the magic drugs to check, you'll have to roll your saves for that, or you can just do an
Bloop.
option to check.
Okay. That I think is a success for you. Let me double check. Because you have an addiction to what, Drekus?
Mage sight.
Okay. I think that is enough. Yeah, that is enough, so you won't take any penalty this time around.
That's my new class feature. Mage sight addiction.
I thought somebody else got an addiction as well.
I did. I also have.
Roll me a fort save. You were vigilance, right?
Yeah.
Vigilance. Nope. You are going to take a -2 penalty to con.
Ugh.
So
You also, because Mage Sight is a minor addiction, Clarence, you do actually get to heal one of those points of con because you made a successful save.
I was gonna ask, when you take it, like if I were to take it again, like this is just out of character knowledge, but if I were to take it again, would my penalties go away until I stop taking it? Because I'm not suffering anymore?
Yes,
Or-
your penalties would go away until you stop taking it.
I haven't hit a
But
remix,
remember
so
that
that was
each
just curious.
time you take it, you're taking wisdom damage. So, and you have to take it within a day of the last time you took it.
Oh, it's been a while. So no, that's not.
How do you become unaddicted to it?
You need to successfully save against it a certain number of times in a row.
Okay.
So, like in the case of vigilance is a moderate addiction, so it would take you 3 successful consecutive saves.
Oh boy. That's gonna be with me for a while.
I
Yeah,
think,
especially if a 15 didn't succeed,
Yeah.
and that was a high roll for you.
Yeah. That I only have like a 2 bonus, so.
Well,
I
yeah,
did.
we're all level 3. None of us are gonna have that high a one
yeah.
unless we got like a super con.
And if you take it again, you also reset your recovery timer.
Hmm. All right. So do we want to? So our plan is to rescout for this evening to see.
Yeah, we gotta find a place to change safely.
Yep. So let's get some perceptions checks from everybody. You guys can like work together as a team. Go out there in shifts and try to find a spot to change.
But only certain people are doing the site for the cameras, right? Or is everyone doing that?
I don't know. I guess that's a good point, because, yeah, you'll need to be looking for the cameras, so
Yeah, I
it'll
mean-
have to be somebody
But
using...
technically, perception check could spot them. It's just like
It's a
easier to
much
spot
higher
them.
DC, yes.
Yeah.
In the notes in the Discord, didn't it say that? I thought we found out there were no cameras in the front though. So we would.
No, I mean, yeah, we're talking about a place to change nearby into our costumes. We know that around the building there's only one camera, but we can't just like change in
In the
the
middle of the street, yeah.
just
Okay, I
because
got
there's no
you.
camera.
I didn't know if
There
that meant
could
like
be,
there
like,
weren't any
street
cameras
cameras,
nearby in the
too.
front.
Mm-mm. No, that
Okay.
doesn't mean that there's not cameras in other parts of in other areas
Okay.
nearby.
Yeah, we only
That's
know
what-
that this particular building doesn't have any cameras in the front, but that doesn't mean that like the street doesn't have cameras or other buildings around don't have cameras.
Gotcha.
But yeah, anyone want to volunteer to be the druggie or?
Well, yeah, I would have taken it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we only need one person doing it because I don't think you can like not see them when they're lighting up a magical, right?
Yeah. All right, Grey Bloom, this lasts for... Roll me a d4. Ooh. Let me... There is a slim chance on the one that you don't find one. But you are fine. That was really close, though. You are able to find a small alley where you notice that they are starting to erect a lamppost there, but they have not yet put in the sensor. And you know from your experience watching these things get erected, where it's at right now, it'll be 3 days before that gets erected. So as long as you do this within 3 days, you have a safe place to change.
Oh yeah, so the hourglass, how big is that? Like, is that going to take up one of my hands so I can't do 2-weapon fighting?
It would take up one of your hands if you're going to continue to hold it.
So I'll just have one weapon for this area then.
Yep. However, you'll still be using your 2-weapon fighting if you want to keep from shaking it. Because if you're trying to fight with a weapon and hold an hourglass, that's going to be at a disadvantage. Otherwise, I'm going to make you make checks with the hourglass to potentially lose the time on the hourglass. Because ideally, like, if you're trying to duck and avoid hits, you're going to be moving your hand around, and you could end up, like, flipping it upside down, or, like, twisting your wrist in a weird way that stops it from counting down.
Is it considered a light weapon?
It is considered a light weapon, yes.
Okay.
Is there anybody who doesn't need to use both of their hands who should carry it?
I think a lot of us could do that, but I think the check used to stabilize it, Grey Bloom is the best at.
I see it.
All right.
Yeah.
You've got your changing location.
Yep.
You've got your plan.
All right, so the guard stayed on the same approximate time. of
Same
5 minutes?
same rotation. And
Nobody extra went out or in?
Nope. And I have for you a map.
Cue the Ocean's 11 music.
So this is the place. It's a little bit rough in terms of its appearance, so forgive me for it not being as beautiful as I wanted to. But yeah, it is. You got the carts in the back. You got the 2 guards in the back. You got a guard coming out the right side, and then that means the person's on the other side. And then they will. Then the guard will go in the other side.
Technically, we can't see this though, right?
You can't see into there, no. So
Okay.
I'll only be updating areas where you're going to actively be monitoring. A lot of this, once you guys get inside, I am going to be playing Theater of the Mind style. So a lot of that is because there's going to be a lot going on. It's hard to track, and I didn't have time to build the inner mapping. So it's a twofold complicated problem.
I would have asked Dragomir and Ford if they have anything that we can put in our shoes for the fact that I know that this building probably has these like false floor areas. Do they have anything?
They can work to try to design something that will reduce the chances of you triggering them. But you'd have to like step a little more firmly, or the other option they have is it's going to infer a reduction in your speed.
And I just get a 10-foot pole. I'll just tap the floor ahead of us.
You can get a 10-foot pole if that's what you want.
Do we think that that's effectively going to trigger it without, like, can you put a lot of weight onto that?
Can I put weight on things? I'll just flex my biceps at her.
Okay, if you think your pole is gonna work, then you can go first.
I don't
Yeah,
like
I
the
think
phrasing of
that's
that, but
I think that's pretty standard way to set them off. So sounds good to me.
I'll see if they can get me like a retractable one, so I'm not like carrying like a 10. Like if I can get like a.
They do not have the power pole. No.
Oh, okay.
So the boots that lower your movement speed, would it be a lowered speed as when you're trying to use that ability, or would it be?
It'll be a lowered speed permanently.
Yeah.
These would be like heavier. These would be like heavier boots that are built with a couple of mechanisms in them that should be able to overcome the trap.
How much do they lower your speed by?
10 feet.
And the other boots.
The other boots are going to basically give you a bonus to your check versus the trap to
I
stop
think
you
I'm
from
gonna take a
triggering.
pair of the bonus boots.
Okay. The
Is
bonus
there a reason
is
we shouldn't all take them? Do they have like enough for all of us, or?
they can produce enough for all of you if you all want them.
Well, when you say produce, how many days? Because we only have.
No,
3
they
days.
can do them in a day. They basically are just taking a pair of boots and they're adding a couple of things to it, which should increase the likelihood. Like they know a few of the things that likely trigger it, but in order to cover all of the bases for all the potential triggers, they have to sort of load the boots up. So in this case, you're getting like the reduced options, but it may not cover everything, and it really doesn't cover everything. It just has like the quick and dirty version. So this is like you would if you had to put your foot in the exactly right place, the heavier boot is going to like be enough that it's always going to have the force in it to cover the full surface area, whereas this boot is slightly covering enough of them but can't quite get them all, but doesn't encumber you as much. It's kind of complicated, but it's got a lot to do with how different styles of floor traps work, and the things you can mitigate for and the things that you can't mitigate for.
How quickly can you don and doff these boots?
It takes a person like 20 seconds to put on and off a pair of boots, to take on and off a pair of boots. So 3
like
rounds.
3.5 rounds.
Yeah, I'd say 3 rounds.
3 rounds.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with the bonus boots.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we don't have any reason not to. It doesn't sound like
Yeah.
there's any negatives for using these
No,
ones.
they will infer for you a +2 bonus on reflex saves against pit traps.
Do we need to
Alright.
put that on our sheet, or is it just understood that we all have it?
If you're all taking it, then you'll have to remember it. If you want to keep wearing the boots, you can just permanently, and you can add that as one of your miscellaneous bonuses under your reflex.
Yeah. might
Well,
as well.
I mean, I don't have magical boots or nothing, so sounds like a plan.
What do we call these? Business boots, or?
These are, I don't really have a name for these, so I guess just reflex boots.
Floor trap boots.
Yeah, floor trap boots. Well, floor trap
Alright.
boots make them sound different. They make it sound like they're gonna fall out.
So okay, so +2 reflex when what?
+2 to reflex versus floor traps.
Versus floor
Pit traps. Pit traps is the term. Sorry.
+2. It's an untyped bonus.
This is an untyped bonus. Yep.
2 reflex.
I guess technically it's a circumstance bonus.
True. Okay, I'll say +2 circumstance bonus.
Yeah. I don't think it matters because I don't think there's much that gives you circumstance bonuses to reflex.
What were these called?
I don't know. Call them.
Whatever you want.
Yeah.
Pit
Call
trap
them
boots, you
anti-pit
said?
boots or something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
They don't really have
yeah.
anybody that works here that does naming of the miscellaneous things they put together. So
I'll ask for a 5-foot pole because I'm 6 feet, so I could like have it just like on my back, so I don't have to like awkwardly have like a 10-foot pole sticking up.
Okay.
So I'll get a 5-foot pole.
Have you seen the video on how it's almost impossible to draw a weapon from your back?
Yeah, but then I've seen how it's also possible.
Yeah, but you basically have to near stab yourself multiple times when you're putting it away.
Well, it's not a sword; it's a pole. So. However, I would keep this on my person. That's fine.
I'm just giving you a hard time.
Should
That
I
came up during one of
this?
Koibu's campaigns, so I went looking for video evidence of this, and I was like, oh man.
I think I did the same thing. And there's like a guy who like figured out how to do it, but it's still like really
Yep,
hard.
it's
and
really
weird.
sloppy too.
Yeah. Is there any weight I should add for this 5-foot pole?
Yeah, it's like 2 pounds, I think, if I remember right.
Oh, is it an actual item?
It would be half the weight of a 10-foot pole, which I thought was 4 pounds.
True.
I might be remembering that wrong.
Adventuring gear.
Nope,
10-foot pole is 10 pounds.
Yeah, it's 5 pounds.
So 5 pounds. And then boots are normally 5 pounds, I think, or 1 pound or something.
We'll just call boots part of your outfit. So
Okay. Excellent.
I don't want to get excessively semantical with clothing. Unless one of you is like, I'm rocking gemstones all over my outfit, and then I'm like, all right, let's talk about weights.
While they're crafting our boots and stuff, I'll just say, are we unified in our decision if we open the door and there's guards there? We're just flying into a frenzy to knock them out?
I don't see any other alternative, really.
Just making sure we don't hesitate. We should do the same thing we did with the last mission.
We'd like to offer you something that might be useful. And they'll take a flask and they'll set it down, and Dragomir will set it down on top of the table. This is a particular favorite of mine, but you can't overuse this gag. If you run into a situation where you have to knock someone out and you need an excuse, simply coat them in a little bit of the flask, plant the flask on them, and skedaddle. It works especially maybe well if what I overheard was correct and they have these fake rooms. So perhaps you would knock the person out, cover him in a little bit of booze, push him in the room, have the door locked behind him. Then he's got to explain to the rest of them what he's doing in the room and how he definitely wasn't drinking.
Smart.
But keep in mind, if you do this too many times in too many different places, it will become a calling card instead of a solution to a problem. And it doesn't really help you much if you get caught on a scry. So try to make sure you're not visible or less visible where possible.
So is this something we all have? Like a few flasks of alcohol?
He's just giving you 1 flask.
1 flask?
Yeah.
So I guess, Tess, you keep that or something? I don't know.
Okay.
Sure.
Does this weigh anything?
Yes, it weighs what a full flask would.
I can carry it.
Flask is...
Is it just alcohol, or is that actually something to knock them out?
It's just alcohol.
Oh.
Because you'd want it to be alcohol because you're going to plant it on them so it looks like they were drinking out of the flask. If you put, like, poison in it, somebody's going to be like, why were you actively drinking poison?
Because they're that metal.
Yeah, no, man, they're like Grog with his poison.
Not everybody is doing that.
A flask weighs 1 to 1.5 pounds, but it doesn't say if that's full or not.
So like that's fine. A flask of acid is like 1 pound. So
Okay, so 1 pound?
Yeah.
That's fine.
Can we get more than one of those?
you can. If you all want to carry flasks and then you all want to turn this into a calling card thing, then you can have like 5 of you flasking.
No,
people.
What if we just want to drink on the job ourselves?
If she's not around or something, you know.
Yeah.
When am I ever going to separate the party from each other and leave them in some kind of
I knew it. I'm gonna go ahead and take this flask of booze. 1 pound.
I'm
What have I
sorry.
ever done to make everyone distrust me like this?
I was absent-minded when you answered my question, Tess, or if anyone did. What are we doing if there's cameras inside? Are we worried about that at all?
We're just hoping they're not watching them.
Yeah,
Well,
our
I
hope
mean,
is.
Are we hoping we're going completely unnoticed throughout this whole operation?
Well,
That'd
I
be the
mean,
goal.
obviously, we'll roll stealth checks inside just in case, right? To try to avoid them as much as possible. They have to be visible, so theoretically, we should be able to spot them decently easily if there are any inside. So then, yeah, avoid them as much as possible. But if we do everything right, they'll have no reason to look at the tapes,
True.
and there's probably unlikely that anyone is actively watching them like at this moment because they are like personal it's like the personal building ones versus like the city run ones, and I think there'd be a higher chance that the city ones are periodically being flipped through randomly, I would guess, like, but I doubt like a personal building one is being like actively watched unless they have a reason to believe they need to.
Well, it's good enough for me. I think that's all I can think of already.
So, what we're going to do here is I'm going to give you all some minis. For some, I don't understand why dragging these over. They're never sized correctly. They're never scaled correctly. Even though I took them from something that was on the same scale. But whatever, roll 20. You don't like me. I don't have to like you.
So Grey Bloom would know this. Is the alleyway in a position where we can see the guards rotating out or no?
It is not.
Oh.
You would have to move into another position to get to there. It's close enough that you can move into the position, but the safest place is down the alley.
So I think, unless anyone disagrees, our game plan is to change and then go back out into where we can see the guards and wait for the rotation, right? We don't want to see the rotation and waste time changing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah, definitely, because we want to be ready that as soon as we see
It's-
that
yeah,
guard
exactly, yeah.
come out, we can.
That is why I'm putting you where I'm putting you all on the map. This is basically the roadway you would be coming down. The alley would be a little up this way, and then over. So then you can come down this way and then do whatever you're going to do.
So yeah, just for the record, I assume we're all bringing our change of outfits. When we're changing the alleyway and then coming back out, I am expending a minute of my shifter aspect to increase my stealth.
Okay.
To get in position to watch them.
Okay. So let's get some things changed. In fact, before we do this, why don't we take a short break, let everybody get themselves hydrated and ready to see if I get to put the party in jail. We'll be back. and on the precipice of a new challenge. You all change. And who is going up to keep their eye out for when the guard change happens?
I think it should be Kitten. So far, he's been the overall stealthiest and most perceptive.
I mean, I wasted my shifter aspect, so I'm going out too.
Oh,
I thought we were all getting in position.
You all can. It can be everybody or just a partial thing. I just want to know.
It should be only a few people, because the more people who are up there, the more, like, as they change shifts and are walking out, the more people that are there, probably the more chance they have to notice us.
I'll try and sneak over. I can do it.
Sounds like everybody is.
I'm gonna not make it harder on us.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't want to make it harder either.
Yeah, we can, because we're just stepping out, like we can whisper back when we see them, right? We can be like, "Ow," or something like we can whisper, right? Or would they not hear us?
I get like hand signal.
I mean, yeah, we should be able to see you.
See, if you can
just,
see us, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I want you to do is show me on the map. Let's assume that as far back as you can be, you are here. So show me on the map where you're going to go to listen. Or to look.
So where's the door? The door is like
the
here.
The door is here.
Okay. So what I guess I want to do is I want to go against... Where's the
I'm going to I'll put a marker there for the door.
So like, I'm going to walk... I can even show you the path.
Door.
Like I walk to this wall. And then I'm going to try and like slide across this. And then like peek out if I can.
Okay. And then is it just you or more than just you?
Well, it sounds like, I guess from this position, it sounds like only one person could do that. And then we can't really do... Like, what's over here that's like off map? Like,
you could slide alongside of other buildings over there.
Yeah, I'm going to do that.
Okay. So move yourself down to, let's say, here, just so where I put that dot that I didn't mean to put there. Valerio, put yourself like here.
Yeah, so I'm like off map, like adjacent to where he is.
Yep. So let me have both of you give me a stealth and a perception as you look, and I will determine randomly which side they're on. All right. So the array that you see on the map is the current array of how it is, according to Valerio's site. Bobbin, you do not actually come far enough down the wall to be able to see around. You do discover that like this isn't the edge of the building. The actual edge of the building is here. That is why you come up with an 8. But you are both what you feel is very well hidden. But Valerio, you can definitely see this is the array. There is the guy on this side right now. And that means the other person must be somewhere on the other side, but you're not exactly sure where on this side they currently are.
Yeah, so I'm just waiting for the change.
Okay.
And giving some sort of hand signal to go, but until I see that.
Okay. So it will take about 3 minutes. But then this guy will come down, and this guy will switch sides, and the next guy will come out this side. He will start making his way this way.
We do signal, or as soon as he starts walking away, as soon as I hear footsteps walking away.
Well, Valerio would give the signal, because Valerio is the one who perceived it.
Oh, it's true, yeah.
Yeah, so my initial reaction was to wait until he was a little bit further away so he wouldn't be able to hear us, but... So maybe I wait for him to walk like halfway down the path. Okay. And then I'll signal people to go.
So you wait about 2.5 minutes, because they walk incredibly slow down each side of the building.
I don't think we want to wait that long.
And he will get about halfway down. That's what was said. It's what Valerio was doing.
It's not like he arrives at the spot, then they change immediately. The guy was waiting there for a few minutes when we saw him, right? So
you're not sure how long because you didn't see the other guy go in.
Well, you just said when we were watching, you said a few minutes passed, then they changed places.
No, a few minutes passed because he's got to walk down the entire length of the building.
No,
so,
you just said that, but when we just obtained our position to watch, you said you wait a few minutes and see him standing there, and then they start moving.
No. You're misunderstanding.
So
This guy was
started
here.
moving exactly when we
This
walked.
guy was here. This guy was somewhere over here, right?
Right.
3 minutes pass. Then this guy comes around the corner and goes inside. Well, this guy switches to the other side. And then this guy comes out this door. That
Right,
all
so
happens
this
in the
guy was
space
watching- So this guy was standing here for 3 minutes.
That guy is standing there for 3 minutes.
True. So when this guy gets there, he should be standing there for 3 minutes.
No, this
before-
guy moves over to this side as soon as the other guy comes down. That was literally what you watched on the rotation each time. This guy swaps to the other side as soon as the guy leaves this side.
So someone is not standing here for any amount of time?
Someone is always standing here for all amounts of time. They're just on a different side of the building looking up the other end of the building.
I'm confused. I thought someone would be standing here for a small amount, like 2 or 3 minutes. Someone's standing in this area.
Somebody is standing now on this side for 5 minutes. Well, this guy is walking down this way.
We're using different terms. I'm saying specifically this square. Someone has remained in this area.
Yes,
for
somebody is
this-
always there.
Not. It sounds like you're trying to trick me. I'm not saying like someone leaves and someone comes in instantly. I'm saying one person, the same person, is there for an extended amount of time.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, then I stand by this
Okay.
assessment.
Okay, so he goes halfway down.
And then I'm telling people.
By him going halfway down, though, that we have 2.5 minutes now inside to search around instead of the 5 minutes that we were originally. I mean, 5 minutes would be if we went in right as this guy starts walking, which he probably has a higher chance of noticing us. But if we wait till he's halfway down, then we have half amount of time to search inside before we need to get out.
That is correct.
Well, my math's messed up then. I made the call, so I do that.
That's fine.
And
When we get the signal, I start the hourglass.
Okay.
I start moving up.
Yep. You can all move up. And at this point, you can all give me stealth. All of you that have not already given me a stealth check. So I got one there from Drekus. Thank you. From Tess.
Second one.
No. You won't. You guys have already given me a stealth. Excellent. Good stealths. So you guys can make your way up to the door if you want. I will. Yep. This guy is keeping his focus straight ahead. And you guys are at the door. Who is trying the door?
I assume we're a lockpicker.
Well, we have two
We
now,
have two.
but I have the hourglass, so you're gonna do it.
Okay. Oh.
Okay.
Give me a disable device check. Ooh, yeah.
Yep.
That is smooth-handed. That
Indeed.
you get your picking tool in, applying just the right amount of pressure, and you hear a few soft clicks and then one heavy click as you bring the hook around, and the door can be opened. And the 5 of you can slip inside.
That's what she said.
Inside, there is a short hallway that you know will lead to a longer hallway. In the short hallway, you know from your plans, there is no false flooring in here. At least in the short hallway, it is in the long hallway that there are the false floors and the false rooms. As you reach that hallway, there is... Hold on one second. I'm just trying to make sure I have something set here. As you reach the long... Well, first of all, you guys get a perception as you come into the small hallway.
What was this
Good.
one of the doors that locks behind you? Because we need to disable it in that way, or is just a
this
disable
door-
device in general?
This door
good enough?
auto-locks when somebody comes in or out of it. So it has a reset mechanism, but it can be opened from both sides. But it automatically relocks when the door closes.
Okay, so we would just disable it again.
Yes. So I've only got 3 perceptions there. I need 2 more perceptions. Everybody should make perception as they come in. Excellent. Greybloom and Valerio, you will notice at the end of the long hall, there is a scrying sensor. And it is pointed down the length of the hall.
Is that the only way to go?
That is the only way to go. Small hall, and then it goes into a turning right down a long hall. So you know right now the sensor is not picking you up.
I can't remember. Were there stairs or anything? Like, was there a second floor?
There are no stairs. There may be a second floor, but you don't see any signs of it right now.
Okay. All right, time's a wasting. What's the plan?
Yeah, we just keep going.
I'm using my pole to check the floor.
He said that we know in this hallway that
The small hallway does not have any
yeah, it'll just be
anything
when
there.
we get into the other rooms.
That she got from the architectural notes that there's.
Right, sorry, I meant whenever it's apparent I need to
Gotcha.
do that is when I'm doing that.
So you guys can come up to the intersection and turn, and you will notice that there are 10 doors down this hallway, 5 on the right and 5 on the left.
Marked in any way?
They are not marked in any way.
Yeah, I mean, I think
Well.
we just have to start checking rooms that have only like one person go in. So
Can I do a perception to see if like any of the doors or doorknobs are like dusty or anything like that? Like if any look completely disused, or if any look like people go in and out of them often, or something.
As you come up to them, you can give them a perception. From a distance, I think that's kind of hard to tell. But as you come up to them, I think that's fairly reasonable to do.
yeah, so let's just start going up to like. So there's 5 on the right, 5 on the left. So I'd say like in one round, like we have people checking right and left at once and try to see which ones look used and which ones look unused.
Okay. So everybody, for the first 5 doors, everybody give me a perception check.
Not a 1. Still under 10, but I'll take it.
Let's see. I think I'm gonna do this way. Most fun way. Yeah, so you are looking at these doors, and Greybloom, you will notice that the door that you are in front of has been used. The rest of you do see easy signs of dust, or in the case of the door in front of Bobbin, you will need to give me a reflex save.
Okay. I just saw it. I lost it.
Ooh, yeah. You're like walking, and you happen to like catch your foot just a moment before realizing like the feeling of the floor feels softer where you're about to step. In front of that door is a false floor.
You should also modify that reflex to show the boots, the +2 boots.
Oh, I don't know how to do that.
You click on the little cog next to reflex, and then you'll see a box for miscellaneous, and you can put +2 versus pits.
Well, let's not dally if that door looks used. Call Bob and
Yeah,
someone have him check it since you're holding the hourglass.
Yeah, I'm pointing it out.
Okay. Are you gonna open the door, or is somebody else gonna open the door?
I'm saying Bobbins should check it, and
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'll try and open the door.
Okay. Yep, you can move over there, and the door is locked.
All right, I'll try to pick it again.
Yep.
Roll high.
Whoa.
Ooh, this is actually enough, though. This is a fairly rudimentary lock. It is one of those office doors. So you easily pop the lock and can swing the door open.
Well, it'd be stealthily opening the door, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, as stealthful as you can be with a camera staring dead at you. You can pop open the door. The
goal is for them to not have a reason to check the camera.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't understand what you're getting at.
Well, he was
I
just
like the
saying as
door to make
stealthy as...
noise that someone's like, oh, check the cameras. What's that noise kind of thing maybe or something.
Okay.
But there could be someone just watching the cameras in this place. Like, that's something like that.
Yeah, there could be.
If you were saying because there was a camera looking at us, we don't need to be stealthy anymore, like, yeah, we're gonna be stealthy.
Well, yeah, but that's already implied. Like, you're in stealth unless you say, like, I'm making a bunch of noise, or you do something that's clearly making noise.
Yeah, I think Steve just pointed out we're not invisible. Like, if someone's watching the camera, they'll
No,
see us.
more of what I'm pointing out is that there's loopholes I'm gonna get you on, and there's loopholes I'm not gonna get you on. And one is not gonna be, I say you swing open the door, and I'm like, and you swing it open, like, lackadaisically, and it creaks wide open, and everybody's alerted. I'm assuming that when you're in stealth, unless you're, like, doing something that's a very clear, non-stealthy thing. Like, if you're like, I shout down the hallway, there's no way to stealthily shout down the hallway.
Well, Kitten is always whispering, so...
Yes, but so it would be extra important if he said, I shout down the hallway.
All right, what do we
True.
see in this room?
Yes. What you see in this room is you open the door is a series of desks and chairs.
While people are looking at say, Grey Bloom, how much time do we got?
There have presently elapsed about you're at 1/5 of the hourglass.
So is my character smart enough, because I wasn't smart enough, do I realize we have half the time because of what I did?
I think Tess would be smart
Give me an insight check if you have ranks in it.
I do not. So I'm just like, okay, we have 5 minutes. Everyone saw the guard, right? They know he's halfway down, right?
Everyone did not see the... Well, when they came around the corner, there's a possibility that, yeah, everybody would have seen the guard. Because everybody in the party has dark vision, and he would have been within range. So yeah, everybody could have seen the guard.
I'm just wondering if anyone is aware of the less time we have, besides out of character.
Well, yeah, so then Tessara wouldn't have had to roll an insight because her plan was 5 minutes from when he was at the door.
Yeah, that was originally my as I always said, as soon
So
as
she
he
should be able to
exits
just point
that
that out.
door, we have 5 minutes. So if he waited till he's halfway down, I would know, okay, we have half the hourglass time now
Yep.
to do this. So, okay, so we're at 1/5, so we've
Correct.
elapsed a little under half the time we think we have. So,
Correct.
yeah, I mean, let's check these desks really fast and hope there's the info we want in them.
Okay. Everybody give me a perception check if you're all group searching the room.
Yep.
Oh, you lucky sons of bitches.
Oh man, I really rolled well.
Let's see. There are a certain number in here, so let's see how many there are.
I'll whisper as I'm searching and say, well then I fucked up. We already wasted half our time to get to this point. That means we need the same amount of time to get out, no?
Man. Nice, we're very happy with you.
We've only done a little under half our time. Hopefully it's in here and we can turn around and leave.
There are 3 pieces of paper that are like tucked away and hidden in somebody's drawer. They're like underneath something else, but you're like moving things aside. And these are the names of 3 employees.
Okay, as fast as I can, I always have paper and quill and stuff on me, so as fast as I can, I write down the 3 names and say, I think we have enough, we should probably go.
I thought we
Agree.
needed enough for all of us to assume a person, no?
They didn't specifically say we needed names of employees for everyone, we just needed to get some
Alright.
names of employees. We were never
Good
told
enough for me. I start
a
walking.
number, so... Yeah, so I make sure everything in this room real quick is as best as how we found it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as she copies it, yeah, we'll be putting stuff back.
Make sure we lock the door
Okay.
when we leave.
I'm aware of when my shifter aspect fades for myself, right?
Yes.
So I know I no longer have it. I'll reinvigorate it,
Okay.
whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
So I have another minute of shifter aspect.
This is very disappointing for me. I'll explain why when we get to the end of this. Yeah, so can I get a disable device to relock the door? Because this door does not automatically lock on closing. Since you said you're going to lock the door.
The back, the one at the start.
No, the one for this
door
room.
to this room. So
Alright,
you need
so
to roll
I'll
disable
unlock.
device to relock it.
Okay. It does not relock. You
Each
can try
attempt is
again.
like 6 seconds, right?
Each
Well,
time is like
can't-
6 more seconds. Yep.
Yeah. So
Do it again. Do it again.
Yeah, try one more time. And if we don't get it, we're just going.
Nice.
Excellent. The door locks. And you
Alright.
guys can make your
Let's
way
book it.
back. And I will need a stealth check as you guys reach that door.
Oh
Hell
man.
Yeah.
All right.
Where is my stealth? There we go. Ooh,
Fuck
Michael,
all of
here.
you guys. Oh
Let
my
me in.
god. Hold on. I'm gonna do this in the chat just so everyone. No, I'm not. I'm gonna keep this secret. That way
Mine
you'll
was
never
the
know.
lowest. Oh god.
I want to specifically position myself at the back of the party. I'm gonna use a perception check to make sure no one's like dropping anything by accident or something.
Ooh.
I don't know if I noticed anything dropping from anyone.
You guys can slip out and get away.
We make sure and shut that door and make sure it locks too.
It locks by.
Yeah,
It
you-
locks
oh,
automatically.
actually,
Yeah.
you need one more disable device as you're leaving. I
That
forgot.
one doesn't lock automatically.
The exit door locks automatically. Okay, you are out the door.
Okay.
And away.
Yeah, we get back to that alleyway and
Yep, change back.
change back and
We need another
disperse.
stealth after that. Stealth out of the alley.
Yeah, our typical procedure is to walk different directions, not as a group,
Yep.
away from this place.
Split up, gang.
I think me and well, I don't know how we want to go. I'm definitely going stealth approach out though.
Well, yeah.
Same.
I will expend another use of
Ooh.
my shifter aspect if needed.
As you're in the alleyway.
Oh no.
Hey, what's going on over there? You hear footsteps coming down the street towards the
Which way?
alley.
Have we changed already?
You have managed to change already. But these
So we're all
footsteps
over
sound
here?
close. Yeah, you're all like down an alley.
Which direction are they coming from?
They are coming from the way you came in.
So this.
Basically, yeah. If we say that like this is the alley that you're in, they would be coming up this way. Or the way you just pointed, yeah.
How long does it take us to change approximately? Do we know this?
It takes you about like 20 seconds. I can usually like take off a jumpsuit in pretty
Can
quick
I
time.
gauge check how far away the voice sounds like it was if they were?
Yes,
Perfect.
absolutely. It is close. It will probably be upon you in the next like 20 seconds or less.
I let them know this immediately. What do you guys want to do?
You try to
I'm going that
sneak
way.
away.
All right, we're stealthing away.
Okay. Give me some perception checks as you like try to find another way out of the alley.
Ooh.
Wait. So we did change.
You are out of
So-
your outfits, yes.
Okay, so I would be in my normal cleaning outfit then.
Correct.
Okay, so then I can just be there cleaning.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm not stealthing away. I'm
Okay.
being there cleaning.
The four of you will find that there is not an exit that you can see to this alley. This alley is
Alright,
a dead end.
Smooth talker, time to talk our way out of this.
Oh
Uh,
boy.
Is there a when you say not an exit? Could I shifter claws climb?
Ooh, you could try to find a way to climb out.
Can I
That was gonna be my-
athletics climb?
Can you what?
Athletics climb?
You can try to athletics climb.
I'm gonna try athletics
Yeah, I'm
climb.
gonna mention this to the party. I don't know. I'm pretty strong. I don't know if I could like grab someone with me, but maybe not.
I'm gonna try and smooth talk my way out. You guys could try and escape if you want.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to stick with him because I have absolutely no means of escaping through any sort of climbing or any other means. So
Okay. You get a climb speed, right, Valerio?
I don't have a climb speed. No,
Okay, so you're just athleticsing as well?
I believe so.
Yeah.
I rolled a 6. Or,
You will climb very
two.
slowly. But that will These are...
I don't know if you want me to expend another shifter charge. I don't know how long is it transpired, but it's a minute each use.
No, you've got...
Oh,
That's enough time. I think, Drekis, you're able to find a few like spots to kind of get yourself up high enough that somebody would physically have to look up to find you. Valerio, you're going to need to try again. Because you can't even find like a spot to get initial footing.
Yeah. This is athletics, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. So you look over at where Drekis went up, and you quickly like follow up behind him.
I notice I'm behind, and then I use my claws and just start.
Yep. And is it about this point that the guard will come around the corner?
Can I say one thing I would do if I see them starting to climb away?
Sure.
I'm just handing them the pieces of paper that I have with the names on them to one of the Valerio climbing off. I just hand him the piece of paper, so in case I get searched down here, I don't have them on me.
Yeah, I think like it's fortunate that like Valerio goes running for the wrong wall, because then as he's coming back, you're like, no, take these.
Like, God damn it, take these.
Okay. Once I'm safely up on the roof or top or whatever, I'm gonna put this in a false bottom cup I have.
Okay.
Nice, good idea.
The guard wraps around the corner. What are you doing in here?
I'm sorry, I got turned around. I'm lost.
Remember, we're here together. If you have to fake that we're trying to find a place to have sex, that's fine.
I was gonna say we're on a date, but I mean, do you...
That works too. Whatever. I don't want to die.
We got turned around on our way through town. I'm sorry. I was just a little lost.
He immediately turns to the cleaning person that's standing there. Is this true? They come down your alley?
Yep. I guess they saw me over here, came to ask directions.
Where were you heading? It's very late.
Can I guess it's knowledge local. I just don't know what's in the area.
Yeah, give me a knowledge local.
A feasible thing.
I would also like do this and maybe see if I can be like, yeah.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, so
So this is what I want to do. I'm gonna like do the fake like wrap my like arms around his arm and be like, oh, we were just on our way to this place. He was taking me on a date.
Yes.
On a date at this time of night.
Listen. How do I say this?
I try to purposely look embarrassed to make it obvious. Maybe it was for other reasons.
Yeah. I just want to be like, it is my private life. I'm sorry that I chose to not. I don't know how to say it. I actually can't come up with the words I want to say.
Your private life. You're out here in public. What's that got to do with private?
We weren't trying to do it in public. We just got lost.
Like I said, yes, we were lost. We got turned around. I'm not familiar with this part of town.
Give me a bluff check.
Sure thing.
He eyes the two of you over. Especially looking at you, Tess. Tess, what is your charisma?
Really bad.
Yeah?
Yeah. Dump stat bad.
You're looking for a very dark place, huh?
Yes.
Yeah. I would too.
Oh, this asshole.
Roll for
How dare you
laughing.
insult her like that? You apologize at once.
Oh God, don't yell at the guard.
I'll do no such thing.
Part of the act.
You're lucky. I should say, you're so lucky you're unlucky. Because
I'm gonna go clean
otherwise,
somewhere else. This is distracting.
otherwise, I would do something about this. But I don't want to touch either of you for fear you've already done something yourselves. Get out of here. This isn't the kind of place for this behavior.
I will.
Yeah, get the hell out of here.
Yeah, he will turn and head off, and the two of you can leave the alleyway. He will not look up. He will, though, as he comes back out, go, "You! Cleaner, get back in there! That can't stay!"
I hate this dude. Oh my god.
I'll head over to clean.
Okay.
I'm so offended.
I am mad.
As soon as we're out of like earshot and eyesight, I'm definitely not touching him anymore. I'm fucking guards. Piece of shit asshole.
How dare he insult us like that?
Man, let's be honest, he was insulting me, not you, but
That's true.
And with that, you all can return. Where are you heading? Back to the hall? Back home? What is your plan?
Home.
It depends on what time of
have a
evening
home.
it is, I guess.
It is late evening. You guys would have planned this so that it was definitely dark enough and there were definitely less normal people walking the streets.
Yeah, I'm heading home and then I'll head to the hall in the morning.
Okay?
Yeah.
Just some gaming in the morning.
Okay.
I don't know if I've maybe made Cresthaven like a pseudo home. Like I don't know if they have. Like...
Yeah, I think they said they have a
Yeah.
place
Yeah,
that
they
that
offered
you're
it.
staying.
Okay.
maybe
yeah,
you were
yeah.
so drunk you don't remember, but
True.
I
But yeah,
guess
that's
my
the only
character
place I
doesn't
have to
a
go.
home.
So yeah, you guys can find your way back. Did you say Bobbin doesn't have a home?
I wasn't sure.
So
I mean,
Bobbin can either also be staying in the same place as the is where they put some of the other people from Cresthaven, or Bobbin can be staying in the regular plain public housing that is technically free, but also not particularly comfortable to live in.
I'll stay with the group.
Okay.
I think.
The pool farthing. That's where I am.
Yeah.
I want to make it known that I want to be seen. So I want to make like a show of myself being like entering Cresthaven at this hour. I want it to be like not an unusual thing that like.
Yep.
It seems like maybe Valerio like tries to find a place to stay at night and then he always comes back here really late.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. So I want to make it like a not an unusual thing for me to be walking.
Yeah, make it look like you're more of a night owl than a daytime person.
Ha! Owl. Yeah.
You like what I did there?
Nice.
So yeah, you guys can effectively arrive back in much less effort than I thought this was going to take you fuckers.
We're really good at sneaky.
No, what you're really good at is having the dice roll in interesting ways. So there was only a 95% chance, or I'm sorry, there's only 5% chance that you could find anything in any of the rooms except the room where all the stuff is stored, and that is in the 18th room. So that would have been actually on the other side of the building that you'd have had to have gotten to. And there were only 1 to 3 identities, even if you found it. And of course, I rolled basically max roll on the identities, and I rolled a 96 on the roll for stuff in the room. And then I got lucky and rolled a 97 when it came time for checking for guards.
Well, hey, like, I mean, it's the same rules as before with all the lions and golems and stuff.
Yep.
So, so it's just more of that. Only it's to our benefit this time.
This time to your benefit. But yeah, you all can rest. And in the morning, are you all heading straight to Cresthaven then, or?
I'm already there.
Yeah,
Yep. I'm gonna get some breakfast there.
Okay. Yeah, you all can head in. And yeah, eventually bring what you found down to Dragomir and to Ford. Is there anything that you guys want to talk about over breakfast though first?
I have one quick question for you, something I just randomly thought of, and I'm curious what it would entail to try to ever do. What would the time or check or needed minimum like skill ranks be to start coming up with my like own personal code to write things in.
So that would be linguistics.
Uh-huh.
So over time,
Ooh, that's cool.
we can kind of treat this like the retrain rules, where you can formulate your own language.
Oh, that's cool as fuck.
So
Yeah, so I think that's something
Smart.
I would be interested in working on in my downtime that I have, is working on basically creating my own language to be able to, like, when we go into places like this, I could basically copy it down and write it, but in my language, so even if someone like caught me with it, they have no idea what it says.
So it will take you 10 days to
I
get
figured
it
would
yourself.
not be a quick thing. But
If
yeah,
you
it's
want to
just
teach
something
it to
I
the
wanna-
rest of the party, you can do that as well over the course of 10 days.
Okay.
As well.
Yeah.
So you would teach it to yourself first by creating it.
Yeah.
That's 10 days, and then 10 more days to.
Yeah. So do you have a current calendar, or should I just like tally the days?
You should tally the days.
Okay, so we can say this is day 1 that I start working on it.
Yeah. There are an interesting thing of note in here is that they do not. No one at your wealth level will know what the real day is. Time has sort of been lost
Sure.
in the more recent years.
But yeah, I'm gonna start working on that. I mean, I have 11 ranks in the or 11 plus 11 to linguistics, so I feel like I'm proficient enough in that to start being able to make
Absolutely.
something.
All right.
Super smart idea.
So if you have nothing to talk about during the day, or during breakfast, you can head down eventually. And
I'm just gonna be bitching about how the guard called me ugly and all you other fuckers running off and leaving us to have to pretend like we're lovers.
I'm gonna be talking about our cover. I'll just be talking about the game.
I still feel it was smarter for the two of us to just to lie to the god. It would have been harder to come up with an excuse for multiple people.
It's true.
That's what I was thinking.
It's not fun having to be the butt of an excuse, okay?
Oh, I understand.
all right. When you bring down the papers that you have to forward and
Hold
Dragomir-
on, I'm RPing how I give it to them.
Oh my God!
Um,
Okay. So much interrupting Steve this session.
Well, because you're skipping important RP moments.
I don't know when you want them. I was trying to pause
That's
for
what
breakfast.
I'm telling you. So I have this in a false button cup. False bottom cup.
No false button. There's a button on your cup and you.
It's false. I want this to be full of ale, and I want to just be I want to be making like a name for myself, being like a drunk, like poor Valerio kind of story.
Yeah. So you now carry your own tankard with you.
Exactly. And then like when I get down there, I just kind of like I'm feigning a drunkenness to myself, but then I'll just kind of like hit the false bottom and pop out the paper, and then get to like a more rigid kind of.
Give me a bluff to do that, to see how well you're portraying this.
Ugh.
Not so well. So you're like doing your best drunk impression. It doesn't go off as smoothly as you like, but you can slam it down and trigger the switch, and reveal the papers. That's a pretty good idea. You need to work on it. If you're gonna pretend to be a drunk, you either need to be it, or you need to get better at acting.
I think I'll just get more drunk.
I'll just get better at acting.
Well, what have you got? 3 names. That should be enough. It's normally 2 drivers and they call them. I don't remember the name for them, but person who unloads things from the vehicle and make sure that things on the cart are not sloshing around. But there's usually the driver, the backup, and the backman. Well, we'll just call him the backman. No, backman. No.
Bagman.
What we would need you then to decide, I think I overheard Tess already kind of catching on to where we were going with this, is what 3 of you are going to act as replacements for each of them. But to do that, you're probably going to need to know what each of them looks like.
Yes.
At least to some degree. they're going to be wearing the masks, as Grey Bloom had pointed out. They seem to be covered from head to toe, and is much of a way to eliminate being able to tell what they look like. That is supposed to be for, as we've discovered, for their security, to make sure that no one can simply accost them outside of work periods. And it's unlikely that they would not be reported beforehand. So we're going to need to do this extremely carefully. We'll need to find out where these 3 people are, and thanks to this, we have names, addresses, and details of some of their hobbies. I guess you just got down names though, right? Or did you should have also taken down addresses.
I would have taken down as much information as I could write in a, like, I knew approximately how much time we had left. So
give me a linguistics.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you got a lot of stuff down. So you got some very important details. With this, we should be able to come up with a plan for all of for you all to figure out what the best method of replacing them temporarily or permanently will be. You'll need to do this very carefully. And if we can make this work, you all should be able to capture at least, well, you should be able to capture 2 very important things. One will be details about the interior, ways that we can get in, ways that where the deliveries are kept, places of interest that we might want to look into. And from there, we should be able to plan the final assault. Or, there is the other option. We could attempt to do this all in the same motion. We could try to sneak the remaining members of you in with the shipment. You could go in and try to come out with a cart full of whatever you can and find a place to store the cart temporarily. But you would need to scout a location to keep the cart that has limited visibility. That would likely be much more difficult, as we need to have men there at the time to unload the cart and then have you return the cart all within the allotted time frame.
I like the easier plan. More difficult does not sound good.
Well, the easier plan is easier up front, harder on the back end.
Oh, so the first plan's harder for you guys?
The first plan is harder because getting into the refinery afterwards to get stuff out will be more difficult that way. We'll need to sneak you in. Well, I guess you'll need to sneak yourselves in with the information you've gained from the inside at a later point and acquire as much as you can to bring out, or find a way that we can bring our own carts in to pick stuff up and get them out. We have been working on something that might temporarily cause a bit of arcane disruption if we have exactly what we need ready at the right time. But it will require you to know exactly where we would bring a cart to. On the opposite end, on the second plan, we'd already have a cart, but we would need to unload all that we can and get the cart back before the expected time for the round trip to be completed. Did I make that clear as to what I'm saying, or is there any confusion or questions?
So plan A is basically we deal with these people and take their spots and basically do their jobs and just collect as much intel as we can on this place that we use at a later date to basically sneak in and steal as much as we can. Plan B, or the second one, is to do that, but also have the other two people like sneaking in with the shipment, and then we basically load it up as much as we can, steal the cart and all of the stuff, drop it off someplace that we have to pre-scout out a safe place to drop it off, and have their people there ready to basically like take it somewhere else, and then bring the cart back as to not like arouse suspicion.
Okay. Yep. That's pretty good description.
So yeah, obviously start off with I mean it's either do we want to have the difficulty of figuring out how to sneak in and bring out the Noquel, or do we want to deal with the difficulty of trying to scout out a safe place to try to bring the cart and plan that route? Well, that seems like the two hards, and you just pick your hard.
I am not sure which way I like.
Well, it sounds to me like maybe we try and scout a place for the cart, and if we can't find something satisfactory, we go with the other plan. That's what I think.
It's a good starting point.
Yeah, because I mean that seems like the hardest part of that plan is finding a safe place to do it. So I mean if we can take a couple days or something to try to scout for a place, see if we can even find some place. If we're not able to find anything in those like 1 to 2 days or however long we decide that we're like, and we can ask Dragomir to like, you know, what do you think is a okay time frame for us to try to scout someplace out? And if we can't find anything in that time frame, then we just go with the other plan as to at least get some intel right now.
Well,
Yeah, like are these guys regularly replaced or anything?
employees usually stick around for a long time unless some major catastrophe comes up.
Are we aware at any point that they reveal their real identities to each other or the employer?
They all personally usually know each other's identities. But when you are coming in for work, you're coming in sort of fully in your uniform.
So the people that we use to replace should be good at disguising their voice or acting. As you pointed out, I wasn't good at impersonating something I'm not.
Well, not everybody needs to talk.
Hmm.
Usually only the driver does any of the talking.
So our best actor of sorts should hopefully be the driver.
I'm sure I could pretend to be a driver.
Yeah, and I could show you the motions that you need to do for the medallion thing.
Sure, I could run that.
The problem is, if none of these people were of any orc in them, me and Druckus are probably too large to.
They were medium.
Well, we
So
are medium sized too, but I mean I don't know.
Yeah, so you should be.
We're
fine.
like.
I
Well,
mean,
I'm
that's the
6'5",
point of-
6'5". I mean, a medium creature could be like between 5 foot and there's a big difference between someone who's 5 feet and 6'5", right?
I
So,
mean,
if
yeah,
so-
we still have the part of like we have to get information.
Yeah,
on, like,
I'm just
what-
saying like
But yeah,
if none of them
but
were
once-
hobgorks, I don't think we could impersonate non-hobgorks. But
I mean, just like obviously, if like very many of them are like bulkier people, I won't be able to.
Right.
Obviously,
They were baggy clothing, so
But yeah, I mean, I think like the first steps should be like just figuring out what these people even look like, and we can spend a couple days even seeing if we can find a location that would work for the second plan, and kind of start with there. And once we have information about what the people look like, obviously then we'll be able to better deduce who should go, and after a few days we'll know whether or not we can even scout out a place to be able to use. And depending on that info, we know which plan to go with.
Okay.
Yep.
wow.
All right. Well, we can see which part of that we can see what you guys can manage to scout after another short break. We'll be back. So the plan is to scout out a potential place to drop off the cart and get the product unloaded and then head back. That's correct?
Yep.
Yeah, and I think we'd be doing some scouting over the course of a few days because we obviously don't want to. I mean, the city's huge, so I don't assume we're going to be able to scout out the entirety of the area in one day. Plus, we don't want to be obvious, so.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Do we need a mage site to see if there's cameras where we're planning to do this?
Well, you'll need to scout locations first for where possible.
Where it's even possible.
Yes.
Yeah.
Would there be any information in the library that would pertain to, like, I don't know, like empty lots or places for sale or abandoned areas or anything of that
Absolutely.
general nature? Yeah, so while they begin to go out scouting, like on day 1, I'm going to go to the library and see what information I can gather on maybe for day 2 and 3, giving them like more direct locations to check out those days.
Yeah, so there's not going to be a lot that you're going to find, like hitting the pavement and trying to walk about a city to find a place to store this. The most important thing is going to be like knowing the area that you want to look for things in, and then researching like who owns the property at present, because you can go off of lot information and then figure out who owns it, if anybody, what the square footage is and what is there. So there are records that you'll basically want to go through as the first measure.
Yeah, so I will do that on day 1 and see what I can figure out.
Okay.
Lose some more damage, mental damage if
Yeah.
I have to.
You can do this a couple of times and see what information you find with each result.
Am I doing a local check?
This is knowledge local.
Yes, that's my best one, so I'm happy with that. And that is bad.
No, that's not bad. Getting
I
below a
can do
15 is
better.
bad, yes, but it's not bad. Don't call a 19 a bad number.
Well, when you roll a 4, it's kind of bad, okay?
So,
Okay, Antaeus.
so one thing that you will solidify is that in the immediate vicinity around the refinery, there is most certainly no storage location available there.
Okay.
Give me another knowledge local and takes 6 points of the research damage.
Okay.
There you go. A 26 is pretty good. You will find one location that is between the office you're going to be bringing the cart back to, and the refinery, and that is a location. Put a little building down here. Down this little building. Definitely not that big. Not to scale yet. Now closer to scale. Now I can't move it. Get over here. You will find a building that is right in here. This building is presently an unowned building. That does happen to have a place with a dock. Do you want to continue researching?
Yeah, I will try a little bit more.
Take one more point.
Okay.
And give me another knowledge check.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So you will find there is another building. This one is between the refinery and the mines. This building is actually very close to the mines. It is a communal storage location. So different people can rent out a chamber for a period of time, store something there, and then This would be like if you needed a quick exchange point, you could rent out one of these docks, drop stuff off in it, have your transport go to where they're going, and then have another transport come up, pick that up, and take it to the next location. If you're this is like a logistics person, the kind of thing a logistics person would love to be able to have access to in a particular situation. And this exists here. And this is the rental dock. Again? Yes? No?
I think, I mean, that check was pretty dang good. I can't do a significant amount better
Okay.
than that, so I think with that information, I'd probably figure that's about as much as I'm going to get, unless I get extremely lucky.
Okay.
Or if there's anything I guess my other question is, I don't know if there's if I stop researching different places and I hone in on these two places, if there's any way to get more information on like these two locations if I decide.
Yes, you can choose to get more information about each of those places.
Okay. Yeah, so if I'm able to do that, I will take more like mental damage to try to research harder into those two locations. Yeah.
Which one do you want to start with first?
We'll start with the unowned one first.
Okay.
And I'm guessing just another local check?
Yep. Okay. So you will find that while the place is unowned, there are people that are regularly around that building.
And mental damage for that?
5.
Okay. So that, alright, I'm not at half yet, so I'm not fatigued yet. So yeah, I will try one more time, and I will look for more information on the rental docks now.
Okay. Another 4 points, and ooh, wow. So you will find that the rental docks are fully privately owned by a person who ensures 100% secrecy of product movement. He has devoted himself to the idea that if you need to move things around, it's not important for other people to be able to see it. So it is a fully closed off dock. You would pull in with whatever you're pulling in with. It is no one can see from the outside of where you pull into what is being moved around on the inside. No information will be kept about you. There are no cameras, or he has no scrying devices on premises. And he boasts that at a certain point of coming within range, there are presently no scrying devices in the area that would be able to see anything other than the vehicle move through the location.
Cool. Yeah. I am now fatigued, so I'm going to stop there. I feel like I've gotten a pretty good amount of information. And I'm assuming we'd all be meeting back up at Cresthaven later, and
one thing. Nope, you're fine. You got very lucky.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can meet back up with everybody. That they all probably went out, did some canvassing, didn't really find a whole lot. But you can meet back up with them in the evening to discuss your findings.
Yeah, so when we all meet up, I'll just inform everyone that I was able to scout out 2 locations. One seems to just be unowned, but is sort of has a good amount of people around. It's not very private. The other is extremely private, and I'll try to just explain like what I found out about that building without obviously divulging too much details out here that would need to be more private, but
I do say paying for privacy seems to interest me.
yeah, it definitely seems that the second location is quite private. I'm not sure if it's... I mean, I think we should talk to Dragomir about this location. I'm not sure if he wants to or thinks it's worth looking into actually. I don't believe this doesn't seem like a location that we could just like sneak in and use. It would be one that we would have to actually like probably pay to use type thing.
You know how expensive it is?
I mean, I don't know what I've in my research have gotten any information on.
So the interesting part is it isn't priced. One thing that you do know from stuff Laska has told you in the past is that when you start moving into the inner sanctum and you start talking about the way money is exchanged, it's not the same method of currency. They don't really talk in gold. They don't really talk in EC. There is this sort of like unspoken of method of exchange that is sort of unclear. It's sort of like a what's the best way Laska would have explained it?
Is this like favors? Like, do you do favors for them?
Sometimes it's like that, but the bigger thing is this is more of a system of valuation. Like you're always good for some kind of exchange. There's always some measure of trade that's accepted as part of what's going on. And the trade can be in the form of physical goods, asset ownership, investitures within one business or another of goods or workmen, or like resource management of redirection of EC. So moving EC to key players in your business as a sort of method of payment. But no payment is ever like a direct monetary exchange. There is always some kind of quid pro quo exchange that's happening.
I mean, I feel like this is the best option.
I think so too. So, I mean, I think we should talk to Dragomir and discuss this option with him just to be sure that us reaching out to them is something that he doesn't see any potential problems with. But I think potentially seeing what exchange we can set up there might be our best option.
Yeah, so I guess let's talk to
Everybody agrees?
Dragomir.
Well, I'll go down and talk to Dragomir myself if I have to.
I mean, I'll go. I'll talk to him.
Yeah, I think we're all going to talk.
Okay.
To him.
I want full party confirmation on a plan.
No one else is saying anything.
We were nodding silently.
Yeah, with no actual head movements happening. Yeah. Yes, nodding.
I'll punch you.
I don't know. I'm like
And
fucking
invisible.
dying of cold in this room at my house right now. Like I'm just struggling. I got this blanket and it's not helping. So it's got me distracted.
Do you guys not have heat right now?
We do, but the problem is, so all the drywall had like mold and stuff.
Oh, so it's been
So it was
gutted
all-
and
Yeah, it was all taken down, and the mold removed, and it's not back up. So like that whole that's like the main.
yeah, no,
main
that makes 100% sense that you're freezing. That sucks, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the heat like just can't keep up or whatever. Like it's like supposed to be 70 in here, but it's definitely not.
So yeah, you guys can get downstairs and present your suggestion to Dragomir. Well, at the moment, what resources do we have to trade?
I mean, I always have my skills. I'm not sure if that's anything useful to them. I'm not sure exactly what sort of things they may need.
Our concern with this suggestion is offering them our skills, the skills that we have here, aren't exactly the kind of skills that we know for certain they'd be interested in.
Definitely probably interested in those drugs you offer us. Is this something you want to keep hush-hush, or can we barter with some of these?
It is important that we keep these drugs hush-hush. Well, there is no implicit law against these things. If it's known that we have the quantities that we have, we could end up in a world of trouble, especially since our business doesn't exactly have an alchemist lab in it, because that is cause for concern for some of these people.
Is it possible we could trade them information?
What information do you think that you have that would be valuable to them?
I don't know.
Perhaps we could find out what they're interested in and obtain that information.
It is possible. If they believe you're worthy of whatever it is they might need done, perhaps they take one look at you and decide they're not interested. I just want to make sure your egos aren't overinflated in these kinds of things.
I feel like I have a very accurate view of my self-worth.
Yes.
Don't worry, we always come down here and we get a good reality check.
That's not implicit. That's not really my plan. What I want to do is make sure you're aware of the skills that you have, and that those skills are very valuable, but they may not necessarily be valuable to everybody up there.
Well, we could at least see if we can make a deal with them, and then we could always attempt the other option.
What types of things are they likely to want?
It's unknown. The way that many of these arrangements works that I'm aware of, and I have very minimal understanding of it, is it could be anything. They may ask you for information on somebody. They might ask you to do a few odd jobs for them. They might ask you to, who knows? It is always hard to say.
Well, I feel the only way we can figure it out is by going there. I see no harm in such, at least asking.
Well, our worry is that if you don't have a good cover, people are going to ask why you're asking. That, of course, is always our worry, though. Anytime you ask a question, someone else is ready to ask you for more.
Well, for a business, it seems to pride itself in privacy. I'd be willing to risk it, personally.
Well, be warned. With some people, privacy is a matter of perspective. Well, they might be willing to keep your privacy. That also means that they have some of your privacy. And anything of yours that someone else has is always leverage. It could just be the paranoid person in me saying these things. I'm sometimes never quite sure.
We're going with the other option now. I don't trust this place.
What other option?
Well, apparently there's a... Well, I guess she said both these things to us. So, there's a unowned building that's also nearby.
And what's the problem with that?
It's not as private. There's quite a few people around it. I mean, it's definitely a possibility. It just didn't offer much for privacy, and there's more watching eyes in the area.
That does sound a lot more risky. A lack of privacy can be just as bad as too much privacy, of potentially the wrong kind. And nothing is ever without a cost. Do you know what these people that are out there that are around it are?
Did I get any of that from my check, or was I
No,
too?
you
Yeah,
just got that
I
there were
figured I
people
was
that are
too
regularly
low.
around it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I unfortunately was not able to ascertain that information. But if we felt it was worth looking into, I could attempt to find out more about it from the library, or people could attempt to go to the location and see what's around.
Yeah, I can go clean over there, see what's going on.
I feel like eyes on the ground or eyes in the area would be more useful potentially than what you might find in books.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's only so much I can gather from books, and some days I feel like I take all my mental capacity looking and still don't come up with much.
Well, the libraries are regularly being cleaned of useful information to people. They're becoming more of an entertainment venue than an education venue.
Not surprising.
Yep. Keep them dumb, keep them drunk, keep them quiet. Fastest way to control. Speaking of these things, by the way, if any of you come across books of interest, of value educationally, we are looking to start a bit of our own library. If you can bring these books in here, then we can find ways to make new copies of them and distribute them. We are working on producing a press of our own here. We have noticed that some of the books we regularly suggest to people to read in the library are vanishing. And it seems peculiar that they all seem to have recurring topics in them. I worry before long there will only be 5 books you can find in the library.
I can certainly keep a lookout. I'm there. Well, I'm at the library pretty often.
Well,
We can check stuff out from the library, right? Or
no,
can
you
go
cannot check things out
out
of the library.
okay, so
New
I would have to,
policy,
like,
new
steal
policy
shit.
stops books from being checked out of the library.
Lame.
Yep.
This town sucks. Can't even be a nerd and take books home.
Nope, you gotta sit at the library. So if you happen to come across them and get them back, that is of course of great value to us and to you. Well, I think you have some things to think on. I'll leave you to it.
Is still the same, like, one day after we did the heist, or have we gone on to the
This is still one day after the heist.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah. You guys could have met up after you'd finished the conversation, after you'd finished your research.
Oh, I forgot. This is the next day.
Yep. Thank you. Can I get some addiction checks?
I thought
Yikes.
so.
Another penalty. So one of the things, hold on, let me check something about the way this works. Okay, it doesn't look, it looks like it's not a recurring penalty. So it's just an effect you have of -2 to your con.
So
Oh.
does the stack.
Yeah.
So I actually gain one.
Yeah.
From
You
failing.
just don't get rid of it until you get 2-3 successful saves?
Until it's 2 successful saves. But for Bobbin now, it is a -2 penalty to con and strength.
Yikes.
And you cannot heal the ability damage caused by use of the drug. So if you use the drug again, you will not heal any of the ability score damage.
Would it have taken me all day to do my research, or would I have time to try to go use the alchemy lab for a bit?
You can make time during the evening to use it.
Okay. Yeah, so, well, I guess my question would be, would they already have things on hand for me to start trying to make doses of anti-plague?
Yes, they would have that on hand.
Okay, so I'm assuming, like, I could maybe attempt, like, to make one dose tonight?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so yeah, so I will attempt to do that. I'll use Crafter's Fortune on myself first, which will give me a +5 to my check.
Mm-hmm.
And then using their lab, I'll have an extra +2. So I'm just going to put 7 in my temp box for this. And let's hope I don't roll low. Yeah. Okay.
Yep. So you can make up one dose.
Cool. I will add that to my character sheet for now.
Yeah. And then I guess you're all going to rest, right? And start another day.
Yeah, I don't know when we're planning on canvassing or looking for those guys, the identities we have to see who they are and what.
Yeah, is that something we need to do, or is that something Dragomir is working on?
That is something that all of you will need to do as well. The number of
Okay.
responsibilities you're going to have will go up the more that you prove yourselves.
Yeah, we just didn't. It didn't get made clear. I think when we
Sorry.
were talking to him, whether that was something he wanted us to be looking into, or with the information we brought back, he was going to look into it.
So yeah, what I was doing was I was checking out the secondary area.
The kitty corner. Oh no, what?
The not the privacy one, but the other one.
Sure,
Oh,
you'll
no.
do that on the
The
next
unknown
day.
building.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, I guess technically, I don't know if all of you were just going to be canvassing the area on day 1 while I was doing research, or if someone or anyone.
Well, there's
wanted
no
to-
There's nothing gained on day 1.
Correct.
Because Steve said we.
it's
We walk around, we can't like find this stuff.
Yeah, no,
Yep.
I was just saying, like, I don't know if we had known that we needed to be looking into these people as well, if everyone.
Oh, if we could do
would've
that on
shown-
day 1.
Yeah, I don't know if maybe like a couple people would be canvassing the area, and maybe one person was like trying to start to look into the people. or
No, I
something.
think it's not really known that you guys can't necessarily find these services because it's not like a common thing to find around town. So this is kind of like an educational experience for everybody. Like there are going to be some things where you're not just going to be able to like use your eyes to find the stuff that you're looking for.
Yeah, I was just saying that we all I assumed that everyone else would be looking around with the assumption that we didn't know that we also needed to be researching into these people.
It sounds like either way we're still on the same page. Like you're only losing a day, and it's a day in the grand scheme of time doesn't really matter.
No,
So I don't want to Trump SC this and have us
I don't
being
get that
panicked
reference.
about time. Huh?
Oh, now I get it. Okay. How old are we all?
None of you are in danger of nicking any of this, so
Okay. There are penalties for aging in Pathfinder, right?
there are
If you're, like,
penalties for
yeah.
aging in Pathfinder, yep. And also benefits for aging in Pathfinder. But yeah, the next day can come, and I'll need another pair of fortitude saves.
No more. No more.
Maybe one day you'll recover.
Doubtful.
Nope, still got the penalty, Drekis.
Oh god, I don't want to do it.
Yep.
Ugh.
Carry that penalty.
But when we meet up in the morning, I think, like, is it a safe assumption that I know enough about drugs and stuff to probably tell that they're kind of suffering from addictions right now?
I'd say at this point, probably, like, there's no way this is just that they've been tired for, like, 4 days straight.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll say to the two of them, I've been working on creating some things that I think will, help you with your current conditions. So far, I've only had time to make one dose of it. I'll try to make another dose tonight, but which one of you wants to?
I would
Try out the
volunteer
first
Dracus. He's been addicted longer than I have.
Uh,
Unless you don't want it.
I won't say no.
Have they completed their step? Like, do they realize they have a problem in step program?
Well, she came up and told me I do. I don't know any better. I have to like.
But do you acknowledge it?
I'll be like, dude, you are super addicted. Can you please just take this stuff and get over it? Because man, like,
Okay,
I'm looking
sounds
at you
good.
like this.
I'm gonna try it. What is this that you're giving
Yeah.
me?
So, it's a dose of anti-plague. You might have to wait until tomorrow to try to use it, but basically it allows you two options. You can either make one fortitude check and gain a +5 bonus to it, or you can opt to make 2 checks with no bonus, but you get to take the better of the 2 checks. So, you get the options.
And then that would cure it, or that would.
No, I
give
mean that's
one
just gonna be one save towards.
I get you.
So you need 2 consecutive. So like hopefully I'll be able to make you another dose today, and you could have like one like take a dose 2 days in a row, and hopefully if you're able to, with the aid of this, make your checks the 2 days in a row, then you'll be cured. But you still technically are just getting 1 save against it. You either just get a +5 bonus to your 1 save, or you can just make the check twice and take the higher result. But it just counts as like one of your checks towards curing it.
Let's see. I think I'm gonna take the 2 rolls.
But yeah, you'll be able to, I assume, do that tomorrow.
What was it called
since
one more time?
Anti-plague?
Anti-plague.
I can.
Times 1.
Not to be confused with extra plague.
Where did it go? I just had it. Here we go.
And now for the reveal where she's actually a double agent and poisons Drakus.
You look like you're dealing with addiction. Here, drink this.
Here, have some addiction.
That's an addiction.
Why not?
Post this so people can read it if they want. Here's the.
Foul tasting milky tonic.
Ugh.
Yeah. Have fun drinking that tomorrow.
Whoa, I didn't know that was a
Sounds
thing.
so
There's
gross.
an
It
alchemical
sounds terrible.
alchemical bonus.
Yeah.
I can't speak.
Yeah, there's alchemical bonus to like a ton of stuff. Like
That's
I've
cool.
been going through all sorts of alchemical creations that you can make, and there's a lot of things you can do. So I've been trying to find things that seem like they would actually be useful that I can try to make.
I think mathematically you take the +5 because I think rolling twice gives you like a +4 on average or something. I don't know the math. I think that makes sense.
It just really depends on what your bonus is. But
Yeah.
if our bonuses are low,
So yeah, the mechanically this works as you either take it in the morning when you first wake up, and it's like the doctor telling you take your medicine each day, or you can take it now and basically get a pass fail. I believe is how I'm reading it.
I think so. This test break into a musical number about spoonful of sugar.
No.
Go down.
Do you think she would sing?
I don't know. You're giving people medicine.
I mean, technically, I'm giving you like very witchy alchemical creations. It's not. I mean, maybe you could call it medicine, but not really like Mary Poppins style medicine.
I'm gonna start calling you Mary Poppins.
You know who nowadays gives you medicine? Your local weed dealer.
not yet.
AKA my local
Does appear.
dispensary, because I
Yep.
don't need a weed dealer.
All right, are we in the next day?
Yeah,
or
if you wanna
We
hold
are in
them.
the next
Yeah.
day. That's why everybody rolled some
Yeah.
fortitude saves.
We're on day 2, so I feel like we would have met up in the morning.
All them
to-
addicts.
And I gave Dracos this to try for tomorrow.
Yep.
And,
Oh, so he's
yeah.
trying on day 3.
Well, he
I'm-
could try it now if he wants to make 2 checks and see if he can get over it today, or he can use it tomorrow to get a +5 bonus
+5.
to start his day.
So yeah,
But
do
if
you?
I succeed after I take it, I still am addicted. That just gives me 1 pass, right?
It gives
Yeah,
you one
just have
pass,
one
yep.
of your 2 passes.
So you're probably gonna get more doses. of
Yeah,
this.
So should I
my-
wait
my
until
goal
I have
is to-
multiple doses?
I would wait until you at least have 2 because if,
I mean,
if you
theoretically, if I spent like half the day working on making it, could I make more than 1 dose?
Let me double check the crafting rules that I'm using now.
Yeah, I know I do now have spontaneous alchemy, or sorry,
Mhm.
swift alchemy, that lets me craft alchemy in half the normal amount of time.
And that's important because we're using slight variant.
Yeah, because rules as written, crafting armor is insane.
Yeah.
Makes no sense.
This other system I'm not as happy with either. I actually have a system I've been working on in the background, but it comes up so rarely that people craft stuff that I put it on
Yeah.
pause for a while.
Just seems like in this game might as well. Like I have all the alchemy stuff, like, and there's a lot of things you can do, and it seems like one of our next best things right now to magic.
So if you take 10, what is your result, by the way?
If I am using the, so can I have my like crafter's fortune? on
Yes,
while I'm
yes, you
taking
can.
10? Yeah, so taking 10 with all of my buffs.
Well, you have to have 1 instance of Crafter's Fortune for each item that you're going to make ready.
That's fine
Okay.
because I can do crafter's fortune. I could do it 4 times a day
Okay.
if I didn't use my stuff on anything else. But taking 10, so that's 10 plus your
Yeah.
bonus, correct?
That's correct.
So I would have a 27.
Okay.
Taking 10.
So if you
There
do
you go.
that,
that is higher than the check that it needs at least.
Yeah, basically I have to roll an 8, I believe, or better to make the check. So if I take 10, I can auto make it. Only with all my buffs though, because without using the alchemy lab and using my crafter's fortune, I only have a 10 bonus, so taking 10 would give me a 20.
yeah,
but-
the problem is under this system, it somehow takes you a week to craft antitoxin.
What?
Yeah, it's one of the things about his system that I didn't like. When it comes to alchemical components, the other system. This is why I said like I want to come up with a better system just
Yeah.
overall, because there's aspects on both sides that just don't make it make sense.
That is an
1 to
insane
10.
amount of time to make.
It's 250, and then you. Okay, and it's how much for antitoxin?
25 GP is the half
Okay.
price. Or this is anti-plague, not antitoxin. Technically, antitoxin is specifically for poisons, but. Yeah, their rules for making stuff is super weird.
Yeah.
Why is this so weird and complicated?
Yes. What's the DC for anti-plague?
25.
So yeah, you would be able to make like 3 doses of it in a day.
Okay. Yeah, so I guess I'll just ask the group, like, I know we have a lot of.
I'm sorry,
research
2
to do.
doses in a day, not 3.
Okay. Or I know we have a lot of like recon work on some of these people that needs to be done in the next few days. Would you guys prefer I help with that, or would you prefer I spend my time trying to make more of these anti-plague to help our
I
friends?
think
with
this
their
is why
addictions?
we formed our group to be so diverse. I think we should focus on what we're good at. You're good at these things, so we should send the people good at stealth and perception to
Okay.
seek out the people.
Yeah, so then I'll spend my day pretty much just crafting and make the 2 doses that I can make
Okay.
for today. That'll be my day. And by the end of the day, I will give one more dose to Dracus so that hopefully he has 2 and hopefully can make his checks in the next 2 days. And I'll give 1 dose to Bobbins.
Okay.
So you have 1 for tomorrow or today if you want to try doing the 2 checks option.
I'll probably wait till the morning.
And obviously I'll work on crafting more tomorrow, so hopefully tomorrow I'll be able to give you a second dose, and if everyone is starting to feel better, we'll have 1 extra on hand. But yeah, so I think like our plans are someone or multiple people should start scouting out that unowned building, and maybe 1 or 2 people looking into the people that we need to basically assume the identities of.
I'm not too good at research, so I'll go with the people looking at the unknown building.
I mean, we
Alright.
don't really have to do a whole lot of research. We have a lot of the information of these people. We have their names, addresses, hobbies, probably a lot of details about what they might do. It's literally just scouting out, finding them, seeing them, figuring out what sort of builds they are, male, female, bulky, skinny, short, tall, and kind of getting info on them so we have an idea of who could take their place.
Let's see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is there like some like I don't know, like a tavern or something I could try to like gather information at to try and find these people?
Well, you know where these people, you know some of the places that these people hang out. So there is a place that you could go to try to find out some details about them.
Well, we have their addresses, right?
You have
Literally
their
just
address as well,
do
but you're gonna go to their door and knock on the door and ask them some
No,
questions
we
about
could
them.
Look at their door, see when they leave, and then tail them, and then see where they
Sure,
go.
also an option. But if you already know a place that they're going to be,
True.
then you're cutting ahead of the.
Yeah, I want to try and go somewhere where I think they're gonna one of them.
So
be.
I'm gonna give you the 3 people, the names of the 3 people, and and a few of their hobbies, and then you guys can tell me who you want to look into and how you want to look into them.
Okay. And I am looking into that location, not the people. Right?
Okay. Which location?
The
The
second
unknown
location,
building.
not the privacy one. I'm checking out
The unowned one?
people and whatnot.
Yeah,
That
the
that we
unknown
don't know
lot.
who they are.
Gotcha.
See what sort of people are there.
Okay. So the first person is into competitive fighting.
Can we get their name first?
Their name is Aldegar Popke.
Any chance you could just copy paste that for me?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
He is also into sorry, I'm using a random hobby generator thing.
So the first one was competitive fighting.
The first one was competitive fighting.
All right.
Mr. Aldgar Pappy.
Hey, Papsy.
Memorabilia collecting.
Okay. What's next?
Uh,
Model trains.
We'll see.
Please be something really bizarre, like
I wanted it to be stamps. I'm really. Oh, I guess it's.
I wanted
No,
to be
the one
dancing of
that
some
that
sort.
stood out to me is chocolate making.
Chocolate.
hot
Oh my
chocolate
god!
making.
I need to hit up
Oh,
this dude.
fuck.
Get some chocolate.
It's
Okay.
fine. Going Willy
So-
Wonka up in here.
The next person is Joseph Penzek.
Oh, that with an
He's
F.
in-
was
Yeah,
not
what a
expecting
hipster.
that.
Tea ceremonies.
So this guy is okay. Before I go any further, I guess aluminum can collecting can be a hobby, but it shouldn't be a hobby.
Cans.
I know people that do
Yeah.
it. My aunt did it, but I'm just
They don't. They don't. People
God.
don't do it as a hobby. They do it to get some extra.
I collect random beer bottles.
look you. You didn't collect that
Alright.
because it's a bottle. You
Alright,
collected
is
it
he
because it's
actually
a. No, he is
into-
not into.
Okay, I'm just like, do I need to be writing this down, or is this just like a what the fuck moment?
So he is into meditation.
That's reasonable.
This dude sounds cool so far.
Into knife throwing.
Ooh.
Fancy.
Interesting.
I too like to live dangerously.
And one of the options on here was urban spelunking, so I think I'm going to give him that urban spelunking.
What does that even?
This guy's fucking Batman.
What
It's
does it mean?
looking around for like fun and interesting things from around town.
Cool.
Gosh.
When one of these people gets geocaching, then I'm gonna really be out.
One of my favorites on this list: miniature furniture,
Like they
That's weird.
like a dollhouse.
like
that are,
dollhouses. Yeah,
It's creepy.
That doesn't exist though. Fine.
Is this guy getting another hobby or a new?
No, this is a different guy. The next guy, I'm sorry. The next guy is, this is supposed to be Renier, but I forget how to do the E in character mapping.
Oh. He's Francais.
Renier rolls up.
Renier.
What is Renier into?
Renier, by the way, is an
Interesting.
elf.
Oh god damn it! Does that
Did
mean
we didn't get races of anyone else?
So Aldegar and Joseph are both humans.
Damn, that means I'm gonna have to take the elf spot. I don't want to take the elf spot.
However, you will notice that Joseph is a larger build person, or at least his weight is rather high. I guess you don't really know whether it's because he's big up top or big on the bottom, but
I don't know how to respond to that.
oh wait, that sounds a lot more perverted when I say it like
Yeah.
that.
I'm glad at least you figured it out eventually.
All right, what is Renier into?
Yeah, I'm trying to find things that they would rationally be into, not falconry.
How about
I don't know,
painting?
falconry
Art
sounds
can't
pretty
art be one of them? It sounds like a French.
That seems too cliche that a French elf would be into art.
But that's why it's.
I
why it's
need
cliche.
something that's like out of the norm.
Yeah, go
okay?
with the falconing. Go
Okay,
with bird watching.
flower arranging.
All right.
That's very elfish.
This is actually something I have always wanted to look into. I've done very little, but I like some of the stuff that has to do with it.
I made a handmade wreath this year.
I worked in the floral department of a grocery store, so I did some flower arranging. Not very good, but I did it.
I bought flowers once.
I've once purchased that.
I've once purchased. Some
He's
flowers.
high enough. This is possible. Meat smoking.
What?
What?
Oh, okay.
Oh,
I get
there's our in.
I need to go sweet talk this dude.
Yeah.
Not that kind of meat
Meat.
smoking, Clarence.
Yeah. I'm glad someone else thought that, not just me.
Like,
I really need to go sweet talk this dude.
And stand-up comedy.
Okay, is there open mic?
There is in fact at one of these taverns.
What if I wanted to? Not that I'm going to do this to try and find this person. If I wanted to try to pretend to be an open mic comedian, what would I roll? What would I roll?
Perform comedy.
Perform comedy. Okay, well I don't have that.
Comedy
I would
is
like to
all
try to
around.
go to. So you said the first person likes competitive fighting.
Yes.
Yep.
Is there like
Competitive
some?
fighting, memorabilia collecting, and chocolate making.
Is there like some kind of like boxing event or something that might be happening?
Yeah, so the thing here about competitive fighting is that all forms of competitive fighting have to be very, very heavily regulated. And so they're in very, very specific places. So you kind of know the places that they're going to be, and they are almost always somewhat separated from alcohol. The idea is they don't want anyone getting into being like in a altered state of mind while watching an event and then making bad decisions and then getting into fights themselves, because watching people fight does have a slightly passive effect on making people more aggressive, especially if they are already like inebriated.
And if they've also lost their bet on someone.
Yes. So alcohol is not allowed in competitive fighting events, and the crowds are limited to a specific size.
All right, so what you're going to want to do is sculpt some chocolate into an MMA fighter, and then we got all three of his hobbies covered.
I'll take my sculpted chocolatier.
And in this corner, we have weighing in at 250 pounds, chocolate. Ladies and gentlemen, he's not dark-skinned because he doesn't have skin.
But he is dark chocolate.
Good.
Jesus.
But yes, I would like to try to find some kind of something that would fit the genre of competitive fighting to try to find this that's close to where this person lives.
Yeah, so that you can do. You can give me a diplomacy to ask around that area to see where there would be some competitive fighting leagues.
So before we all split up and we start doing these things,
go ahead.
Do we have enough to, like, if he goes there, can he spot him? I feel like we don't know any idea what they look like.
You don't have any idea what they look like.
So yeah, I feel like we need to watch them leave their house to see what they look like first, and then do that. But anyway.
Oh, I guess that's true. Well, I guess I can do that before I go to this place.
Yeah, I mean, we do have their addresses, so you could always like in the early morning, like kind of try to scope out their address, see if you can see them leaving their house, and then like maybe then like either follow them, or if you lose them, like go to some place where you think they might be. Or
yeah, I just didn't want people to go to the spots, and then we're just like, yeah, you look for a human. It's like, what?
Yeah, we're looking for a random human by this name.
Yeah.
Okay. So, are you ready for the difficult part here?
Uh-oh.
All three of these people live in apartment buildings.
That's a no-go.
Well, then I guess I'm just going to try and ask around for the person by this name.
Well, there are potentially other ways to do this. I'm just letting you guys know, like, that's the first hiccup that you'll run into, is you'll, like, go out to check out these three locations, and each of these locations are, like, an apartment or condo complex.
And none of them are at any of the places we live. They're in the more expensive areas.
They're in the more expensive areas, yeah.
Okay.
Working for the security company, they don't hire outside of this wealth class.
Since I'm terrible at knowing the local stuff around, I'll ask Tess if she knows of like any feasible like courier services that would be not weird if we like dressed up as them and said like, oh, is this person around, and then we can see what they look like. Contact with them for something.
Yeah, they're all
a plausible thing.
There are all kinds of courier services that you could masquerade as.
When we were in the building earlier, the apartment building that the Night Owl girl, when we were doing RJ Fiscal, did they have any type of like mailboxes, nameplates, stuff like that, or no?
Yes, they did.
And also, these people could, in theory, have like uniforms, right? Like if they're walking out, they're probably going to be in like some kind of uniform that might.
Well, yeah, but keep in mind their uniform disguises what they look like.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Their uniform is a head-to-toe like transition.
With Tess's check, does she know like, do people ever like courier just like junk mail kind of thing in this area? Like, is there like advertisements for shops and stuff? Like, is there anything like that I could just like?
Oh yeah, there's junk mail.
Okay.
There's pretty around here. There is like periodic like little sales flyers and stuff like that people will throw in like to try to convince people to go to different places.
I'll just toss this idea to the group, see if that's a possibility. If not, I don't know.
Only other thing I could think of is if someone is willing to burn a tiny bit of EC or something, buying like just simple items, or like, yeah, I was sent to deliver this to you and it's anonymous. And
I feel like that makes too much.
Give them
of
a singing telegram.
I feel like if it's like typical junk mail, they won't think twice. But if you're like, oh, someone anonymously told me to give you this, it seems like a weird thing that they would stick out in their mind or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if somebody did that to me, I'd be like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd be like,
that's
what the
true.
fuck? Who did this? And I'd be
Yeah.
like weirded out. But if it's just like, oh, a typical, if this is common, like you just say, here are the daily flyers of the places around. Like they're not gonna think twice and even care about who you are.
We could make like we could put a package in front of their door and like knock or something.
a flaming
Yeah.
pile of dog feces.
I was
Jesus.
going for more something that they might want to have, so they don't look into who gave it to them. I guess if they actually, it's probably not great either.
Hmm.
I don't know. I mean, how difficult would it be to try and find, just to go to a place this person, one of these people goes, and just try to just find them, like ask around by name, if they're
Do you
like,
want to be known as someone asking for them by name though? Isn't that weird? Wouldn't that be weird? Because then people be like, why are you asking for this guy? You're like, I just want to check him out, you know? I feel like you don't want to be connected to like anything related to these people.
I guess that's true.
I don't know if you, maybe you could, I mean, you could go there and just listen for the name being spoken or something. That could be a thing, but it feels very unreliable. But
I would try that, but my perception is terrible, so I probably wouldn't actually get anything
we
from.
got drugs for that.
No.
Okay, you dress as a courier. You label the package for the floor above them,
Okay.
and then you go to their door, and when they open the door, they
Oh,
think
and be
you're
like,
at the
oh,
wrong
sorry,
place.
wrong place.
Yeah, I
He's
like that
oh,
idea.
Ooh,
You're
that's
one
pretty good.
floor up.
That's pretty good, actually. So then you get
Yeah.
a visual, and then you have like a reason for being there. Ooh,
Yeah.
that's
Can we
sweet.
try
Easily
that?
forgettable too.
Sure.
I don't know if we can use it on all of them though, because what if they like talk at work, like, yeah, some guy came to my door and got the wrong phone. I'm like, hey, me too. Hey, me too.
I don't know.
I think we can use that
what are
on
the
one.
odds that you would? I probably wouldn't like. If that happened to me, I'd be like, I just forget it.
You think so?
I
No,
think
that's
so.
that's definitely the sort of small talk thing that you would do.
Yeah,
Sitting
you'd
there on
always
a
do that to
job,
one of
like
them.
just driving, like got time. Yeah, you would absolutely talk about something
I
like
feel-
that.
I feel like in this like specific city, like everything's pretty routine too. So when something weird happens, it might be like a small talk thing you bring up. I don't know.
Yeah, so one person, then we'll figure out something else for the others.
Someone can
Yeah.
you could pretend to be like a tenant of the apartment and be like, I heard some noise or something. I was just trying to figure out if it was from this apartment or not. You could try that.
Set
Alright.
their building on fire. No, I'm joking.
Pull the fire alarm and see them come out.
I mean, you'll
Um,
certainly see everyone who's in the building that way.
So yeah, I
No,
think we
just
want
their
our
door.
best
Their door specifically.
we want our best liar and our
It's
best.
a great way to be popular
advisor.
if you want to be
It is.
popular with law enforcement.
Okay, so at least the plan for one of them is to go to the door and pretend to be a delivery person, and you're delivering to a different place and you fucked up the package.
Yeah.
Okay. And then Grey Bloom, you are going to check out the unknown building.
Do we think that Renee, like, does their hobby things say anything about them? If, like, when they're into stand-up comedy, does it say anything like, do they actually like to perform stand-up comedy, or do they just like to watch stand-up comedy?
That part is not listed. So the hobbies thing is very basic. They
Yeah.
ask you to give them some hobbies to make sure you don't have any like hobbies that would be like problematic to the industry that you're working in, or to make sure like they're not going to send you, like, for example, if you like shiny rocks, they're not going to send you into a place that is full of like shiny anti-magic rocks.
Gotcha. I was just thinking, like, it's a possibility that, like, if Renee is into stand-up comedy enough that he actually performs, that if you go up to stand-up comedy places, literally he could be performing, and they usually introduce people when you go up onto stage to perform. So if he is performing, he would be introduced. So you could just go to some stand-up comedy places and, like, watch the acts and hope that he's performing. It's an option of a way of potentially.
Yeah, I just like plans with less RNG, where it's like you just have to random stand-up comedy places and find out.
Yeah,
I like where we're like directing and like, yeah, we can know for sure.
But there's a whole world to engage with. You don't want to see me perform stand-up right here.
Oh, I do.
I
want an encore of the performance from 10 years ago or whatever.
I'm stealing somebody else's routine if I'm going to do it.
If I swear, if you start doing New in Town.
The other random thing I was thinking, I mean, these things are a little bit RNG based, but I was just looking at stuff based on their hobbies, is if, like, someone's into knife throwing and they go someplace to do knife throwing, I'm pretty sure you're going to have to, like, you're not going to just let random people into a place and throwing knives without doing some sort of, like...
Check.
Yeah, like,
Yeah, but the problem with that is then you
or...
have to do that too, right?
Yeah, but like you could just be a person there doing knife throwing too and be interested in it. Like, pick up a new hobby. It doesn't have to look weird if it's something you stick with and actually.
Yeah, maybe there's a knife throwing league that gives prizes. Because I think that I would be pretty good at potentially winning some knife throwing prizes.
Yeah, these are good. My problem is, like, let's say there's like 3 places that do knife throwing. Like, do you have time to sign up for all of them, check them out? Like, you know what I mean? It just sounds like it's without having any direction and know where they are.
I can't imagine there's that many, and there's probably just one that's close by to where the person lives.
Hey, I mean, I'm just trying to spitball potential ideas in case we can't figure out some other foolproof ones, like the.
Oh, yeah, that could work. I'm
pretend
just trying to poke holes to see if we're okay.
Yeah, I mean, like, obviously there's always like potential for them not to work. It's just unless we can figure out other non-weird seeming like foolproof reasons.
Can you pretend to be a tenant of the apartment and then like knock and ask for sugar?
The problem with that is I don't know if they like know their neighbors. Like, oh, where are you from? Like, what floor and stuff. And if you just like say a random thing, I don't know if they like look into it and you're like not there. I don't know. But that could work too. I just would not be the one who want to do that one.
I mean, I could do that one.
Sure.
I could try to lie.
I'm not good at lying, so I do not want to do that one. I think those are 3 solid plans. I think knife throwing is kind of a rare, unless I don't know if you need knowledge local. Is that like a rare thing? Like, is there
knowledge local?
Yeah.
You can assume anything you want, but facts are still facts.
Facts are facts.
Apparently, I'm rolling lots of 9s right now.
All right, that's still enough to know. Like, knife throwing isn't it's not a very common hobby, and there aren't a lot of places to do knife throwing. But there is a place near where Joseph does his knife throwing.
And how about stand-up comedy places?
That is one of the most rare. Something that you know with that knowledge local is a lot of places have been stopping their stand-up comedy sets. So the number of places that are willing to do stand-up comedy has diminished dramatically. They are down to 2. One in the northeast end in the Archtome Borough, and one down on the south end in Lions Village.
Yeah, comedy, one of the last bastions of truth.
So I think to
know why they're getting rid of that.
But we also, if we do that, we don't know if the person's going to be an audience member or a performer.
Yeah, so I think we would want Bobinson to do the comedy club, because then you're good with talking and lying to people. So even if you don't see him go up, you can make small talk with some of the patrons. I assume there's not that many, and then you can like try to work your way around the room and talk to people and stuff. And if that fails, you can do your backup plan of just going directly to their house and pretending to be a neighbor.
Well, I think my idea was that we have 2 plans that we can try to figure out what people look like, and for a third person, if we can't find what we look like, we could try to go somewhere like to the. Like, so how do I say this? If we can't figure out what they look like, because we can't do this, like, if we only have 2 ways to get how people look from like kind of getting them out of their apartment, and this third person we could just assume, I don't know, was it Joseph?
Joseph is the one into knife throwing, and Renee is the one into stand-up comedy.
So if we just ignore,
is the one that we probably have to do something at their apartment.
So yeah, so for Renee, we can just not try to go to their apartment, we can just try to find him at like the stand-up comedy club. The other two, we can try and find out what they look like through the two other means that we've come up with, and then like go to places that are other people can go to places that
are elves just as common as humans in this town?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
So that was my idea. We don't scout the third person's house. We just try to find that person at a location that there's not many of.
And which of the comedy clubs are closer to his address, the north?
The Archtome Borough.
Yeah, so you would know to probably focus on that one first and hope that that's the one he goes to if it's closer to his house, and then
Yeah.
there wouldn't be any like quick way to like maybe earlier, like I'm assuming the comedy clubs probably have their acts mostly in the evenings.
That's correct.
Is there anything that we would know? Do the comedy clubs like have lists of who's performing, like any?
Yes they do. But you have to go there to find out.
Yeah, but I'm saying so earlier in the day, someone could try to hit up both comedy clubs and just get a list of the acts that will be performing. Maybe we get lucky and he's on the list.
Mm-hmm.
That somebody should be the same person that actually goes, so it's not weird that they were like looking it up. Yeah.
And then if they get stopped by a guard, they have a legitimate reason for being like, yeah, I'm just getting the list for who's performing tonight because I wanted to go to a comedy show tonight.
Okay. So, what I'm going to do here then is you've given me enough information that I can finally create our loading screen. And if anybody knows what I'm talking about, that means this is where we're going to break for tonight. I have a lot of information to process for these NPCs, and for this the unknown or the unowned building. I have some information on that, but I want some more stuff since Grey Bloom is planning to go scout that out. So we can kind of roll through this stuff next week. In the meantime, let's hand out some XP for your successfully completed
next
mission.
Thursday is Christmas. Are we playing?
Oh, is next Thursday actual Christmas? I thought that was Friday.
24th.
Christmas Eve. It's Christmas Eve.
Okay, Christmas is 25th.
Yeah.
Thursday.
Christmas Day.
Christmas
Yeah, I don't think we'll be
Holiday
going.
one shot. Holiday one.
No,
I mean,
sadly
I will
not.
be able to play.
No.
Losers, would you guys have families?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I.
What
get
are you,
my-
I know you guys celebrate holidays, man.
You celebrate some of the holidays with your sisters.
No, I don't.
That one year you did something with them for one of the holidays. I don't remember which one, but I think you guys had dinner or something together. But I don't remember
My
when this
birthday?
was. Maybe that was the thing.
You celebrate your
Yeah.
birthday?
So next Thursday is.
Yeah,
the day
next
before.
Thursday is Christmas Eve.
And then the Thursday after that is the 31st.
So, yeah, we'll probably take a break from this then until January. Maybe we find another makeup day, but I think for now we'll say we'll hold it till January.
Breaking for the holidays.
So that is all for today. Oh, XP. Let me get you guys your XPs. Let's see here. Did I put them on this, or do I need to get them from the other spot? I need to get them from the other spot.
I think 4,000 sounds about right.
Is that all you guys are away from next level?
Yeah, the first few levels are pretty quick.
I know. I'm just always surprised.
Where am I? Oh, there's. Yeah, I'm for. Yeah.
Because when I level up, I can actually do things as an owl.
Plus you.
Thank you.
Who can?
Ooh.
Yeah, I think our success was 4,000 worth.
Okay.
He's gonna give us 399.
Yeah, I was gonna say that would be the funniest thing.
All of you can take 2,600 XP. I'm sorry. 3,000 XP.
Nice.
All right, so just 3,000.
Flat 3,000.
All right,
So I got 8,000.
that's what I got.
Good stuff.
Sweet. Good job, guys.
And then 1,000 holiday bonus.
No 1,000 holiday bonus. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and wrap up the stream. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks. Good night.
All right. Bye.
GG.